Chapter 5102. Don't worry, second senior brother. Xiao Hua said as he activated the Kunlun mirror, sending out 10 Fortune Gate disciples with Severing Divinity Realm Cultivation, and ordered them to protect the Cherishing Flower Peak. Your grandmother. Zhang Qingxiao cursed when he saw the 10 disciples whose cultivation he couldn't see through. You're just showing off in front of me. After she finished speaking, Zhang Qingxiao's figure landed in front of the herb garden on Xihua Peak. She raised her hand and lightly knocked on the wooden door of the herb garden. Xiao Hua could clearly see that the herb garden was enveloped by a powerful array. Although there was no sound when Zhang Qingxiao knocked on the wooden door, the movement of the array had already spread into the herb garden. Sure enough, a moment later, Xiao Xianrui's familiar voice sounded. Who is it? Junior sister, it's me. Zhang Qingxiao's voice was lower and gentler. Oh, it's second senior brother. Although Xiao Xianrui's voice was very affectionate, there was also a trace of disappointment. You haven't been to Yellow Flower Ridge for a long time. As the wooden door opened, a corner of the array was torn open. Xiao Xianrui walked out and said, Today, I don't know. Before Xiao Xianrui could finish, she had already seen Xiao Hua's thin and tall figure behind Zhang Qingxiao. Xiao Xianrui was stunned on the spot. She stared at Xiao Hua, her lips trembling. She wanted to say something but couldn't. Finally, she mustered all her strength and asked in a low and hoarse voice, Where's Luer? Luer is fine. Xiao Hua had just seen Zhang Qingxiao, and the feelings in his heart had already been vented. At this time, he wasn't too excited and only said with a smile, moreover, he has already become the Buddhist sex Buddha of Xuanji merit, and has become an existence revered by thousands of Buddhas. Luer. Finally hearing the news that her child was safe, Xiao Xianrui couldn't bear it anymore. Her whole body seemed to have been drained of strength, and she collapsed to the ground. The life spirit tablet that Zhang Qingxiao had refined in the past appeared in her right hand. Back then, Xiao Hua only said that he would take Zhang Luer to find a Buddhist sect expert, but she didn't expect that it would be more than 600 years. It had been more than 600 years, and his fate was unknown. Today he finally heard the news, but he still couldn't see the flesh and blood he had been longing for day and night. Xiao Hua didn't dare to be negligent. He hurriedly raised his hand to support Xiao Xianrui. Although his eyes were red, he still said, Senior sister, I'm very sorry. You can't see Luer for the time being. Why? Xiao Xianrui raised her hand and grabbed Xiao Hua's arm tightly as if she had used all her strength. She cried, Even if he has become a Buddha, he is still my child. Why can't I see him? It's very simple. Xiao Hua answered honestly. Because the realm Luer is in, is not the Dawn Rain continent. Interface. Xiao Xianrui was stunned and asked curiously, What does interface mean? Could it be that Luer is not in the Dawn Rain continent? Xiao Hua looked at Xiao Xianrui's white hair and wrinkled face with heartache. He instantly thought of old G-Man in the Hutu village. These two mothers had both taken the rejuvenation pill. Although his rejuvenation pill was magical, it couldn't resist the poison of longing for their children in their hearts. Xiao Hua sighed with emotion at the innate love of the mothers in the world. He said, Senior sister, don't worry. Please go back to the medicine garden and let me tell you slowly. Yes. Xiao Xianrui hurriedly wiped the tears on her face and said apologetically, Look at me. You haven't come back for hundreds of years. As soon as you came back, I blocked the door and didn't even let you in. If Luer knew, he would scold me again. Quick, come in. Speaking of this, Xiao Xianrui saw Yuanya behind Xiao Hua and Zhang Qingxiao. She asked doubtfully, This is my disciple. Xiao Hua hurriedly said, Yeah, come and pay your respects. Disciple greets martial aunt. Yuanya didn't dare to neglect and hurriedly stepped forward and bowed. Xiao Xianrui couldn't see through Yuanya's strength. She hurriedly helped him up. Xiao Hua's heart moved and said, Yeah, this is Chuanzong's mother. You also know about Chuanzong's sutra seeking in paradise. Xiao Hua actually didn't remember whether Yuanya knew about Chuanzong's sutra seeking in paradise or whether Chu Yuanya had seen Chuanzong. He just wanted to make Xiao Xianrui feel at ease. Xiao Hua's words fell into Yuanya's ears. Yuanya's face was full of reverence. After saluting Xiao Xianrui, he stood up and said, Martial aunt, so you are Chuanzong's mother. Although disciple has never seen you, Disciple has heard of Chuanzong's deeds of walking for nearly 300 years. His footprints have traveled all over the hidden immortal continent in paradise. Thousands of Buddhist believers in the hidden immortal continent, hundreds of millions of good men and women have obtained paradise because of Chuanzong's merits. This kind of tenacity, this kind of kindness to the world, Disciple will never be able to achieve it even if Disciple cultivates for a lifetime. Yuanya was naturally not good with words, but it was these pertinent words in Xiao Xianrui's ears that felt real. She smiled proudly and said, "This is what he should do." When he was still young, he had a great ambition. Now that he can finally realize it, I am happy for him. I hope that you can help each other in the future, and do more useful things for the people of the world. Yes, Disciple understands. Yuanya nodded. Disciple will learn more from senior brother. Xiaohua saw that Xiao Xianrui's spirit was greatly uplifted. In just a few breaths, the previous depression and worry were swept away. He was also quite happy. Knowing that his move was completely correct, he ordered, "Yeah, you stay here and guard. I will say a few words to your martial uncles. Don't let others disturb us." Disciple understands. Yuanya stepped back and stood at the side of the medicine garden's gate. "Let the child come in and sit." Xiao Xianrui saw Yuanya as if she saw Jiang Luer. She said with some distress, "It's not easy to return to Yellow Flower Ridge. He should also take a rest. Let's go." Zhang Qingxiao rolled her eyes at Xiaohua and said to Xiao Xianrui, "Just let him be your guard." A cultivator comparable to a cultivator in the crossing tribulation stage is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to guard the herb garden of Xihua Peak. Ah! Xiao Xianrui was surprised. She looked at Yuanya in disbelief. She really didn't expect that this cultivator, who felt like her own child, was actually so high. Luer is more powerful than him. Xiaohua only said one sentence, but Xiao Xianrui's proud tears fell like rain. Zhang Qingxiao was speechless. He really didn't understand how a woman could cry so much. Xiao Xianrui was like this, and Zhang Yutong was also like this. However, he knew that at this time it was absolutely not appropriate to speak. He only needed to wait patiently. In the end, the sky would clear up after the rain. Sure enough, in less than half a cup of tea's time, Xiao Xianrui smiled again. Compared to before, she was much more charming. She said with a smile, "I've let you see a joke. Quickly come in." Xiaohua's understanding was no worse than Zhang Qingxiao's. At this time, just like Zhang Qingxiao, he didn't say a word and quietly followed Xiao Xianrui into the medicine garden. However, when he saw the situation of the medicine garden, his heart couldn't help but moisten. The medicine garden was still the same medicine garden. For hundreds of years, there hadn't been any special changes. The medicine field hadn't been opened up too much, and there weren't too many spiritual herbs planted. The tender green spiritual herbs and the fluttering spiritual flowers swayed gently in the wind. Everything was so quiet that Xiaohua suddenly felt that he had returned to the past. However, unlike before, there was a tent set up with a restriction in the medicine garden. This was also where Jiang Luer had fallen into silence. If it wasn't unexpected, Xiao Xianrui should have lived here for the past hundreds of years by relying on her longing. Sure enough, Xiao Xianrui walked into the tent. Xiaohua and Zhang Qingxiao looked at each other, their eyes full of bitterness, and followed her in. The inside of the tent was extremely simple and crude. There was only a futon, a jade cabinet, and nothing else. The jade cabinet didn't have any restriction. At a glance, Xiaohua knew that most of the clothes inside were the clothes worn by Jiang Luer when he was young. His nose couldn't help but sour. "Second senior brother, little junior brother, you can sit anywhere you want," Xiao Xianrui said apologetically. "I don't have anything here. It's fine, it's fine." Without waiting for Zhang Qingxiao to speak, Xiaohua hurriedly took out 2 futons and threw them on the ground. He and Zhang Qingxiao took one each. Then, he took out a jade table and placed some spiritual fruits on it. The spiritual fruits were tempting, and the immortal peach smelled sweet, but how could Xiao Xianrui have any appetite? She held back her eagerness. When Xiaohua placed the spiritual fruits on the table, she asked impatiently, "Little junior brother, quickly tell me about Luer's situation these years." Xiaohua picked up an immortal peach and handed it to Xiao Xianrui. "Senior sister, try it first. You tell me first." Xiao Xianrui didn't even look at the immortal peach and said, "It won't be too late for me to eat after you finish." And Xiao Hua then handed the immortal peach to Zhang Qingxiao. After thinking for a moment, he said, "Then I'll tell you everything about leaving the Dawn Rain continent." Then Xiao Hua once again gave a general account of his experience, among which, he talked about Zhang Luer's matter, and the matter of Nirvana scripture seeking in particular detail. Although the words came from Xiao Hua's mouth in Xiao Xianrui's ears, it was as if she was drifting on the river with Zhang Luer. It was as if she was climbing the steep mountain ridges of the Nirvana realm, the boundless land of the hidden immortal continent. Her expression was sometimes nervous, sometimes relaxed. In the end, when she heard Xiao Hua say that Zhang Luer had attained the Buddha of Xuanji meritorious virtue, a tranquil Buddhist light appeared on her face. After Xiao Hua finished talking about Zhang Luer's journey to the west, he hesitated for a moment and stopped. He smiled and handed the immortal peach to Xiao Xianrui. "Senior sister, this is all I know about Luer. Now, he's already an extraordinary figure in the Buddhist sect. He doesn't need my protection anymore. He has the attention of the gods and Buddhas all over the sky. He has the heavy trust of hundreds of millions of believers on his shoulders. Although he's your boy, he's also the Buddha Lord of the Buddhist kingdom." P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please go to Qidian to subscribe to support. Vote for a monthly vote. Vote for a recommendation vote, bookmark, reward, and thank you for all forms of support. Chapter 5103. Buddha Lord. Zhang Qingxiao had been possessed by a demon. Hearing this, he was shocked. Of course, he knew about the past, present, and future Buddha lords of the Buddhist sect, but he didn't know who this Buddha of Xuanji merit was. However, Zhang Qingxiao didn't ask too much. Whether the Buddha Lord was the Buddha Lord or not, it didn't have anything to do with him, a little devil. He didn't know how many years later he, a devil, and the Buddha Lord that Xiao Hua spoke of, would have a lot of disputes. Yes. Xiao Xianrui smiled happily, tears flowing down her cheeks. "I know, but I still can't let it go. Since he already got the Buddha fruit, why did he go west? Where is he heading west?" Xiao Hua naturally wouldn't tell Xiao Xianrui the secret of the Buddhist sect. He hesitated and smiled. "Luer is going west, to go back to the Dawn Rain continent, to Yellow Flower Ridge." "Ah?" Xiao Xianrui was shocked and looked at Xiao Hua incredulously. "Little junior brother, you said he's going to come back from the sea in the east?" Not only was Xiao Xianrui surprised, but Zhang Qingxiao was also confused. He had been to the Kuai-He Sea personally. He finally asked, "Since the three continents and the Dawn Rain continent are not in the same realm, how could Luer come from the Kuai-He Sea? There's an immortal formation here." Xiao Hua then told him the shocking secret that no one knew and the world-destroying mayfly of the three continents. "I knew it." Zhang Qingxiao heard and smiled bitterly. "How could you be willing to come back? So it's to save the world. If not, how could you be willing to cross the border and come back? You're such a sentimental good person. You can never change your character." "What's wrong with being a sentimental good person?" Xiao Xianrui retorted. "A sentimental good person can save people from disaster. This is a great merit." Xiao Xianrui was short-sighted and couldn't say anything. But hearing that Xiao Hua and Zhang Luer were merciful, she immediately stood on the side of Xiao Hua. Zhang Qingxiao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He said, "Junior sister, I'm not talking about this." However, as soon as he finished speaking, he realized that it was impossible for him to get through to Xiao Xianrui. So he stopped and asked, "Forget it, let's not talk about this. Tell me about the matter of returning to Dawn Rain continent. It's definitely extremely difficult." "Sigh indeed." Xiao Hua nodded emotionally, then picked up another immortal peach and handed it to Xiao Xianrui. "Senior sister, this can make up for your lifespan. You should eat one too. You don't have much time left. If you don't eat, I'm afraid you won't be able to hold on until Luer returns." "All right." Hearing that they had to wait for Zhang Luer to come back, Xiao Xianrui no longer hesitated. She took the peach and ate it. If one was not enough, she would take another one. Zhang Qingxiao was a little dumbfounded. Looking at Xiao Xianrui, who was eating in a somewhat embarrassing manner, she whispered, "Junior sister, we are Buddha mothers. Can you pay attention to your image? You're already a middle-aged woman, what image do you need?" Xiao Xianrui rolled her eyes at Zhang Qingxiao and continued to gnaw on the peach. Her white hair gradually turned black. You eat. I'll eat too. Seeing this, Zhang Qingxiao hurriedly stretched out her hands, one in each hand, and started chewing. This rare situation made Xiao Hua think of Xiao Hongyue and Gong Mingwei. Sigh, the creation of heaven and earth is incomparably wonderful. Although this Xiao has just grasped the power of life and death, and also has the ability to resurrect the dead, but in the face of the passage of time I still have no ability. Xiao Hua sighed and said in his heart, if this Xiao could really cultivate the light escape technique, would I be able to go against the light and resurrect Xiao Hongyue and Gong Mingwei when this Xiao had just arrived at Yellow Flower Ridge? Of course Xiao Hua was just thinking about it. After all, Xiao Hongyue and Gong Mingwei had already reincarnated. If he went against the light and resurrected them, what about their identities in this life? Even, could it be that their identities in many lives would be erased? This was a good fortune for Xiao Hongyue and Gong Mingwei, but for other identities, wouldn't it be a great injustice? After the two finished eating, Xiao Hua took out some spirit wine and invited the two to taste. He also accompanied them. While drinking, he told them the important things about passing through the 10,000 demon realm and the Elin continent. Although Zhang Qingxiao had obtained the inheritance of the demon race, her vision was still not enough, let alone Xiao Xianrui. The two listened to the story as if they were listening to a book. In the end, Zhang Qingxiao even clapped her hands and said, "Little junior brother, your experience is too wonderful. If I didn't know that you wouldn't lie to me, I would definitely think that you made this up." Xiao Hua touched his nose and drank a mouthful of spirit wine. This little brother also wants to treat these things as nothingness, treat everything as an ethereal dream. Unfortunately, the billions of creatures in the 3 continents are waiting for this little brother. Damn it. Zhang Qingxiao suddenly realized, isn't Luer also under the threat of the world-exterminating ephemera? Why didn't you bring him with you? Xiao Xianrui instantly became nervous. Senior sister, second senior brother, don't worry. Xiao Hua replied. The West Sea is now the world of our fortune gate. As long as Luer enters the West Sea, he will be protected by the fortune gate's disciples. If Luer is harmed, our fortune gate will be destroyed. Moreover, the Mahavarakana World Lord and the Dipankara Archaic Buddha World Lord are still in the Pure Land. They won't let Luer get hurt. That's good. Xiao Xianrui heaved a sigh of relief. However, Zhang Qingxiao asked curiously, where is the Maitreya Buddha World Lord? He came back with this little brother to save the world. Xiao Hua didn't hide anything and replied, damn it, if that's the case, you still have the nerve to drink here? Zhang Qingxiao jumped up and said, hurry up and break the formation. Second senior brother. Xiao Hua didn't know whether to laugh or cry and said, this is an immortal formation. It's very likely that it was laid down by some heavenly lord or immortal king. How can it be so easy to break? Damn it, heavenly lord? Immortal king? Hearing this, Zhang Qingxiao curled the corner of her mouth and said, I don't know much, so don't lie to me. How can those high and mighty fellows care about the matters of the Dawn Rain continent? This little brother doesn't know the specific situation. Xiao Hua replied, but this little brother knows that this great formation is already erected between the 3 continents and the Dawn Rain continent. If we can't find the trick to breaking the formation, even 100 little brothers won't be able to break the formation with just strength. You haven't even seen it, so how do you know it won't work? Zhang Qingxiao sat down dejectedly and didn't forget to ask. Actually, when this little brother came out from the Million Meng Mountains, I already went to the Taiching Sect's heaven, earth, and mortal peaks to take a look. Xiao Hua's spring and autumn movement technique trembled slightly and said with a smile, however, this little brother couldn't find any traces of breaking the formation from the 3 peaks. Other than being helpless, I was at my wit's end, so I could only put it down for now. Speaking until here, Xiao Hua looked at Zhang Qingxiao and said, Second senior brother's heavenly devil sect is spread all over the Dawn Rain continent. If possible, second senior brother, please lend this little brother a hand. My heavenly devil sect? Zhang Qingxiao sneered. My heavenly devil sect can't compare to the fortune gate in front of us. Nor can it compare to the fortune gate spread all over the Dawn Rain continent. Do you still need my help? Although Zhang Qingxiao said so, he still hurriedly got up and left in a hurry. A moment later, he returned and said, "This old man has issued the heavenly devil order. I hope it can help you a little, but don't hold any hope. This kind of ancient secret is probably only known by the Tao cultivation sects and Swords Gate with long inheritances. Yes, this little brother also knows this." Xiaohua nodded. This little brother is waiting for a suitable opportunity to announce this matter to the world. You're thinking too much. Zhang Qingxiao coldly said, "What does the life and death of the 3 continents have to do with the Dawn Rain continent? Only a merciful person like you would consider it. Other cultivators would only listen with one ear and throw out the other. Then let the Fortune Gate's Iron Army sweep through the entire Dawn Rain continent." Xiaohua said indifferently, "Break through these sects one by one and explore their forbidden areas." Little junior brother. Xiao Xianrui was a little confused and asked curiously, "Why don't I understand? Isn't the Fortune Gate a sect that rose in the last few hundred years? What does it have to do with you?" Junior sister doesn't know. Zhang Qingxiao said with interest. "The Fortune Gate worships Taoist Xiao is this little junior brother in front of you. He is the true leader of the Fortune Gate." Ah! Xiao Xianrui opened her mouth in surprise, and said after a while, "If that's the case, then little junior brother does have the potential to flatten the 3 countries. You're only talking about potential junior sister, you go and see for yourself." Zhang Qingxiao stood up and said, "The current Yellow Flower Ridge is no longer the 100 Herbs Gate's world, but the Fortune Gate's mountain gate. What's going on?" Xiao Xianrui was stunned, and then said, "I'm sorry, second senior brother. This concubine hasn't asked about the 100 Herbs Gate for a long time. What happened at Yellow Flower Ridge? This concubine doesn't know." "It's not your fault." Zhang Qingxiao waved her hand and said, "You're not the person to be the sect master, and I'm already very satisfied that you've been here for so long." Haha. Xiaohua saw the 2 of them stand up, and he hurriedly stood up and said, "Little brother came back this time with the intention of reorganizing Shanghuaming, but there are some unforeseen circumstances." Then, Xiaohua accompanied Xiao Xianrui and Zhang Qingxiao out of the herb garden, and briefly explained the matter of Dark Flower. Xiao Xianrui and Zhang Qingxiao frowned when they heard that Shanghuaming's origin was so strange, and that it was actually founded by the demonic beast race's great sage, and that many ancestors were killed by the founder. Finally, Xiaohua said, "Little brother has captured Dark Flower, and I have already settled all the karma between him and me. Moreover, Dark Flower took the initiative to ask me, Shanghuaming, not to mention his name again, so I want to put my Fortune Gate in Yellow Flower Ridge. However, Shanghuaming is the sect of second senior brother, senior sister, and little brother, so this matter will be decided by the 2 of you. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, vote for it, vote for it, give it a reward, and thank you for all kinds of support." Chapter 5104. This is your Fortune Gate's disciple? Xiao Xianrui felt a little dizzy when she saw so many Zhuji disciples and Jindan realm cultivators flying in the air and busily tidying up the ground. Her aptitude was not good, and she was not particularly diligent in cultivation. Now she was only in the early stage of Jindan realm. She had never seen so many Jindan realm cultivators. "Yes." Xiaohua nodded and waved his hand. Xiongyi and Li Xiang, who had been paying attention, hurriedly flew over and bowed, "Master." Facing the 2 Fortune Gate sect masters, Xiaohua couldn't be as casual as he was with Yuanya. He smiled and pointed at Zhang Qingxiao and Xiao Xianrui. "This is Master's second senior brother and senior sister. Juniors greet seniors." Xiongyi and Li Xiang didn't dare to neglect and hurriedly bowed. "These are my Fortune Gate sect masters." Xiaohua introduced them to Xiao Xianrui and Zhang Qingxiao. Seeing the 2 nascent soul realm cultivators' extraordinary auras, Xiao Xianrui understood and hurriedly bowed, "Greetings, sect masters." Zhang Qingxiao had no choice but to follow suit. Xiongyi and Li Xiang hurriedly dodged and modestly said, we don't dare. Why aren't you the sect master?" Zhang Qingxiao stood up and said with jealousy, "Handing over the sect's affairs to your disciple and being a hands-off shopkeeper? He senior doesn't know." Since he knew Zhang Qingxiao was Xiaohua's second senior brother, Xiongyi didn't hide anything and said with a smile, "My master is the Fortune Gate's first senior brother." First senior brother? Zhang Qingxiao's eyes turned green when he heard this. He clapped his hands and exclaimed, "This name sounds good. Why didn't I think of it?" Xiao Xianrui asked curiously, "Since it's the first senior brother, then isn't there also the second senior brother?" Li Xiang proudly said, "Of course, my fortune gate has a total of 10 sect masters." 10? This time it was Zhang Qingxiao's turn to be stunned. After a long time, he squeezed out a jealous expression and said, "The other 9 sect masters in your family have the same cultivation as your master?" Li Xiang felt that this senior Zhang Qingxiao was quite interesting, so he smiled and said, "Some are stronger than master, some are weaker than master, but they are all supreme beings of the human race." "Damn it!" Zhang Qingxiao jumped to his feet and shouted, "You're already a supreme of the human race, but you didn't even report to me. With a fortune gate like you, why would I embarrass the 100 Herbs Gate?" Xiao Xianrui did not hesitate. She smiled and said, "Junior brother, since the fortune gate has such strength, there is no need for Shang Huaming to exist. However, I hope that you can leave the herb garden on Cherishing Flower Peak behind. I still have to wait for Lu'er to return there." "Senior, please don't worry." Li Xiang understood and hurriedly said, "Junior has already looked around. These mountain peaks are actually not suitable to be our fortune gate's base." Cough cough. Xiongyi hurriedly interrupted Li Xiang and said, "The spiritual energy on these mountain peaks is the densest, but they are too small. Junior has already discussed with senior brother Li to send 100 disciples to the back of the mountain to search for a suitable place for our fortune gate's disciples to cultivate. Of course, we still have to consider how to lay out the sect's protective array, so senior need not worry. Junior will leave these mountain peaks as Shang Huaming's base. We will firmly protect this place. Since that's the case, master won't care. We'll do as you say." Xiaohua was happy to hear this. This was a way to get the best of both worlds. How could he not support it? "Let's start with Shang Huaming from master," Zhang Qingxiao suggested. "He fell for Shang Huaming. We can't forget that." "Good." Xiaohua clapped and said, "Second senior brother is right. Junior doesn't know any of the other ancestors. Master is more familiar." "Thank you, second senior brother." "Thank you, junior brother." Xiao Xianrui smiled and said to the two of them, "A few hundred years was enough to dilute the sorrow of death." Xiaohua's heart skipped a beat, and he asked Li Xiang, "Where are Lu Qingyu and Yuehua?" "Oh, they're over there." Li Xiang raised his hand and pointed. Some disciples were exploring Yellow Flower Ridge, and Lu Qingyu was among them, but looking at Lu Qingyu's lazy appearance, there was nothing special. And Xiaohua smiled and said, "This guy's cultivation is a little slack. You have to supervise him more." "Yes, disciple understands," Li Xiang answered. "Forget it, you two go do your work." Xiaohua waved his hand and said, "Since our fortune gate wants to establish a sect here, there are many things to do." "Yes." Li Xiang looked at Xiongyi, and the two of them said in unison, "Master, please send out the Kunlun Immortal Domain's disciples." Xiaohua slapped his forehead and said, "I forgot. This kind of thing was done by your martial uncle Lightning." Saying this, Xiaohua took out the Kunlun mirror, and under the urging of his magic power, a stream of Fortune Gate's disciples flew out from the light pillar. After Xiaohua sent out the Fortune Gate's disciples from the soaring Dragon Mountain range, Li Xiang and Xiongyi left with these disciples. Zhang Qingxiao sighed and said, "Junior brother, you can dominate the Dawn Rain mainland. In the future, there won't be any sword Dao war on the Dawn Rain mainland. If you, a Fortune Gate's disciple, go out, what bullshit 3 countries, what bullshit Huan countries sword cultivators, who would dare to say a word?" Xiao Xianrui giggled and said, "That's right. Sword cultivators and Dao cultivators won't fight anymore. Then there will be a war between the Fortune Gate and the Dao and sword cultivators. That's a matter for the future." Xiaohua waved his hand and said, "Junior brother wants to know the current situation of the Dawn Rain mainland's Fortune Gate." "Oh, you don't even know your own sect?" Zhang Qingxiao asked curiously. "You still need to ask us?" Xiaohua nodded and said, "Speaking of which, I'm a little ashamed. When junior brother was at the sword tomb that day, it was just a spur-of-the-moment idea to give Zhonghauren and the other Qi Refinement Realm disciples a place to stay. So I gave them some cultivation techniques and spirit stones to find a place to establish the Fortune Gate on the Dawn Rain mainland. But junior brother never imagined that it would be on such a scale now. This is what it means to plant flowers but not to grow. but to plant a willow unintentionally and the willow grows. Xiao Xianrui giggled and said, although I don't know the specific situation, I have heard some things about the Fortune Gate. It's said that this is an extremely mysterious sect. They are not from the same sect, but they all worship Taoist Xiao and call themselves Fortune Gate's disciples. Moreover, these sects' disciples' cultivation progress is extremely fast, so later on, many sects that aren't Fortune Gate also insist that they are Fortune Gate. Oh right, it seems that there is still a dispute between the real and fake Fortune Gate. Zhang Qingxiao didn't say much. He took out a few jade slips and handed them to Xiao Hua, saying, all the information about the Fortune Gate is here. When the Fortune Gate first appeared, I didn't pay much attention, but when I heard that they were worshipping Taoist Xiao, I immediately thought of the grain seeds you ordered my heavenly demon sect to distribute. I had my disciples investigate, and sure enough it was related to you, so I sent some disciples to infiltrate the Fortune Gate. This is all the information about the Fortune Gate. Sweat. Xiao Hua received the jade slips and smiled wryly. Second senior brother really thinks highly of the Fortune Gate. However, Xiao Hua understood the meaning of Zhang Qingxiao's words. He quickly stopped smiling wryly and respectfully saluted. Junior brother thanks second senior brother for protecting junior brother's reputation. And it's good that you understand. Zhang Qingxiao accepted Xiao Hua's salute and said with a nod, but it's strange. The Fortune Gate should be an alliance, but there aren't many sinister people among them. Humph, there aren't any sinister people among them. Xiao Hua had already sent his divine sense into the jade slips, saying coldly, when junior brother was in the sword tomb, I entrusted Zhong Haoran, Fei Yunshu, Zhong Zhan, Qinji, and Zhong Pei to take care of my storage pouch. Now, other than Zhong Haoran and Fei Yunshu, the other three have betrayed the Fortune Gate. Moreover, Qinji and Zhong Pei's names aren't even mentioned in your jade slips. It's obvious that they took my storage pouch and fled halfway with Zhong Haoran. It's your fault. Zhang Qingxiao retorted. Who asked you to trust them so much? They're just qi refining disciples. Yet you gave them so many spirit stones and spiritual herbs. They'd be fools if they didn't run away. Humph, Zhong Haoran and Fei Yunshu are fools. Xiao Hua harumphed coldly. They're stupid enough to become the Fortune Gate's gate chief. Their gate chief. I'm afraid he won't be able to sit still. Zhang Qingxiao said. Keep watching that Zhong Zhan also established a Fortune Gate. He's competing with them on the same stage. Moreover, there are so many small sects that have raised the Fortune Gate's banner. And the Fortune Gate's influence is growing. Zhong Haoran and Fei Yunshu no longer have the strength to command this huge Fortune Gate. Listening to Zhang Qingxiao's words, Xiao Hua didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he looked at the jade slips, muttering under his breath, Chuhong Sect, Cloud Pavilion Fort, Burning Crane Union, Fishing Isle, Heavenly Valiant Pavilion, Yen Sun Manor, Bright Wisdom Pavilion, Yuanfeng Stronghold. What kind of sects are these? Why do they all claim to be my Fortune Gate's disciples? That's right. Zhang Qingxiao laughed. Don't underestimate these small sects. Most of them were established by rogue cultivators. Over the years, the spiritual qi of heaven and earth had changed. The cultivation families had risen, and the cultivation sects had declined. Some individual cultivators had also obtained opportunities. They tried their best to establish small sects in the three kingdoms of cultivation and even the Huan Kingdom. These small sects looked very small, but if they were united, they would not be inferior to those real sects. Therefore, junior brother, you don't know, other than this daddy's heavenly demon sect, there are many other large sects that have the idea of establishing a Fortune Gate, all of them coveting Taoist Zhao's golden signboard. If it weren't for the fact that they don't know the art of transformation, or that Taoist Zhao's transformation couldn't deceive the Fortune Gate's disciples, they would have already transformed into your appearance to deceive the world. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please go to Qidian to subscribe to support, vote for a monthly vote for a recommendation vote, bookmark, gift, and thank you for all forms of support. Chapter 5105. You don't need to say that. Xiao Hua sneered. Little brother already knew that there would be people who would disguise themselves as Taoist Xiao to deceive people. That's just a small trick. Zhang Qingxiao waved her hand and said, there are more people who want to replace you. Forget it, let's not talk about this. Xiao Hua put away the jade slip and said, "Our fortune gate is already preparing to establish a sect on the Dawn Rain mainland. These sects will merge into our fortune gate sooner or later." "That's true." Zhang Qingxiao smiled and said, "These small matters can be dealt with by your two disciples. It's not your turn to deal with them." "The second senior brother, don't be impatient." Xiao Hua looked at Zhang Qingxiao and said meaningfully, "Little brother knows that you want to meet our fortune gate's other masters, but now is not the right time. How about I introduce you to them after I'm done with my matters?" Zhang Qingxiao rolled her eyes at Xiao Hua and said, "Who said I want to meet them? Why would I want to meet them?" Xiao Hua smiled and ignored Zhang Qingxiao. He turned to Xiao Xianrui and asked, "Senior sister, do you remember when Master picked me up?" Xiao Xianrui smiled and said, "Do you still need to ask? Not to mention me, even second senior brother knows. I didn't ask Master in detail that year. You can tell me briefly." Xiao Hua asked. Xiao Xianrui saw that Xiao Hua was serious and told him what she knew. Then she asked, "Little junior brother, why are you suddenly asking about this today?" Zhang Qingxiao said, "When little junior brother was picked up by Master, he had already lost his memory. He suspected that his soul had been searched. Moreover, when he left the Dawn Rain mainland, he was chased by two nascent soul cultivators. Xiao Xianrui's cultivation talent was not good, but she was still an intelligent person. When she heard this, she understood something and exclaimed, 'Could it be that two nascent soul cultivators joined hands to search his soul?' Xiao Hua sneered and said, 'How could it be so simple? Not only was little brother's soul searched, even little brother's Dantian and Naiwan palace were sealed. Damn it!' Hearing this, Xiao Xianrui's expression changed and she said angrily, 'Who is so hateful? Those two nascent soul cultivators? Although they are powerful, they are still not powerful enough to make millions of Meng Mountain's elders fear them.' Xiao Hua replied, 'According to what little brother knows, it was done by at least two divinity severing cultivators. Spirit severing stage adapt. Not to mention Xiao Xianrui, even Zhang Qingxiao was shocked. She asked curiously, 'Little junior brother, you weren't even at the first level of qi refining that day. How could two spirit severing cultivators seal you?' Facing his two relatives, Xiao Hua didn't hide anything and said, 'Because I'm not a cultivator from Dawn Rain continent. I might have come from another world. Other realms.' Zhang Qingxiao rolled her eyes and understood. She said, 'Your cultivation technique is different from the Dawn Rain continent. You cultivate the Mud Pill Palace and the Middle Dantian?' 'Not bad.' Xiao Hua nodded and said, 'So little brother suspects that when I broke into the realm, I was unconscious because of the influence of the realm's law. That was why the two spirit-severing cultivators took advantage of me and sealed me and searched my soul.' Xiao Xianrui also echoed, 'The problem is, little junior brother, I can understand why they searched your soul. I'm afraid they wanted to know where you came from. But why did they seal you? They're not your enemies, are they? If they were your enemies, they could have just killed them directly. Why would they let you go for no reason?' This is where little brother's doubts lie." Xiao Hua looked at Zhang Qingxiao and said, "Now I know that it was Shan Shitzi from Immortal Ascension Sect and Immortal Dui from Xianla Sect who chased after me. But I don't know who sent them, and I don't know the intention of those people behind the scenes. Just destroy Immortal Ascension Sect and Immortal Lu Sect," Zhang Qingxiao suggested. "It's better to let them go than to let them go." Xiao Hua rolled his eyes at Zhang Qingxiao and said, "You know I won't do that. Then we can only rack our brains to analyze the situation that day." Zhang Qingxiao shrugged and said, "The spirit-severing cultivators from the two big sects won't come out easily. Why did they join hands to deal with you, a little cultivator?" "Yes, how did father meet you that day?" Xiao Xianrui frowned as if she was thinking about something. But suddenly she looked at Zhang Qingxiao like thunder. Zhang Qingxiao's eyes naturally flashed with a strange color. The two of them said in unison, "Imperial Demon Valley. The battle between immortals and demons." "The battle between immortals and demons?" Xiao Hua asked curiously. "Are you talking about the battle between immortals and demons in the Imperial Demon Valley?" "Yes." Zhang Qingxiao thought of the Imperial Demon Valley, and seemed to have a feeling of connecting all thoughts. She clapped her hands and said, "It must be the battle between immortals and demons. Except for the battle between immortals and demons, there is no other thing in this world that can make the spirit-severing cultivators of the two big sects come out. Back then, Master went to the vicinity of the demon-resisting valley to see if there were any opportunities. However, his cultivation was shallow and his skin was thin, so he was too lazy to look for it. Thus, he returned empty-handed and picked you up on the way. And little brother, you must be a demon. It was in the battle between immortals and demons that you were injured and sealed by the two spirit-severing cultivators. Fortunately, you escaped from the Imperial Demon Valley. Otherwise, don't forget, how can you cultivate the cultivation method of my demon race faster than me? Xiaohua didn't know whether to laugh or cry and said, "Little brother is not a demon." This has been confirmed, but since second brother mentioned the battle between immortals and demons in the Imperial Demon Valley, it is consistent with the time when little brother broke in. It must be during the battle between immortals and demons. Little brother broke into the Imperial Demon Valley and was discovered by the two spirit-severing cultivators. The question is, why did they seal little brother? Xiao Xianrui said, "You have to ask the spirit-severing cultivators who participated in the battle between immortals and demons that day. However, what I want to ask is, how do you know that you broke in? Where did you come from?" "Where little brother came from, I'm not sure at the moment." Xiaohua shook his head and said, "But little brother found spirit pets and magic tools that crossed over with little brother from other places in the Dawn Rain continent, so little brother can be sure that he broke through the boundary and entered. If that's the case, then it's easy to handle." Zhang Qingxiao thought for a while and said, "You only need to get the list of those who participated in the battle between immortals and demons in the Imperial Demon Valley that day and know how many spirit-severing cultivators participated in the battle between immortals and demons in the Immortal Music Sect and Immortal Music Sect. Then, you will immediately know the truth of the matter." "Where is the list?" Xiaohua frowned. "Haha." Zhang Qingxiao laughed and said, "This matter is very difficult for others, but it is very easy for me." "Oh, second brother is really resourceful." Xiaohua was surprised. "Haha, little brother, you don't know, but I have a chess piece beside the deputy leader of the Immortal Alliance." Zhang Qingxiao said proudly, "This chess piece has seen you several times in the early years." "Who?" Xiaohua was surprised and asked, "Why is there an Immortal Alliance in the Dawn Rain continent?" "This person is called Zhang Zhihao, a confidant of the deputy leader of the Immortal Alliance, Luo Xingtian." Zhang Qingxiao said, "This Immortal Alliance usually has no use. It is used to mobilize troops in the great battle between immortals and demons. It is normal that you don't know." "Zhang Zhihao." Xiaohua frowned and said, "Little brother seems to have killed a cultivator called Zhang Zhihao in the past." "No way." Zhang Qingxiao was a bit stunned and immediately waved his hand and said, "Then it must be the same name. Wait a moment, I will send a message and let him find the list of those who participated in the great battle between immortals and demons." Xiaohua knew that this Zhang Zhihao must be a great secret of Zhang Qingxiao. In order to help him find the truth of the matter, Zhang Qingxiao sent a message at the risk of Zhang Zhihao being discovered, so Xiaohua hurriedly waved his hand and said, "Second brother, there is no need to be so anxious." "How can I not be anxious?" Zhang Qingxiao said, "The news of you returning to the Dawn Rain continent has not spread yet. When those spirit-severing cultivators with ulterior motives know of your strength, they will definitely hide the matter of that day. Don't think that your strength is already heaven-defying, but if it is just you or your fortune gate, it may not be easy to find the truth of that day, so I have to get the list before them." After saying that, Zhang Qingxiao thought for a moment and said, "I will go personally." "Second brother." Seeing this, Xiaohua smiled and said, "Don't be anxious, little brother will go with you. Little brother still has something to tell you." Zhang Qingxiao looked at Xiaohua and said, "Why are you in such a hurry? Stay here and accompany junior sister to talk for a while." No need, no need." Xiao Xianrui hurriedly waved her hand and said, "You are all busy, I am alone. There are Fortune Gate disciples here to protect me. You don't have to worry." "Okay." Zhang Qingxiao nodded and said, "Then you go and pass the sect master's order. Let the 100 Herbs Gate disciples submit to the Fortune Gate. Little junior brother and I will leave first. We will come back to see you when we have time." "Okay." Xiao Xianrui agreed. After bidding farewell to Zhang Qingxiao and Zhang Qingxiao, she flew to the Vanishing Worship Peak. Xiaohua Yuanya and Zhang Qingxiao flew out of the yellow flower ridge. They had only flown a little over 100 li when Xiaohua stopped. He thought for a moment and said, "Second senior brother, wait here for a while, little brother will be back soon." "Where are you going?" Zhang Qingxiao was a little confused. "Why don't you hurry?" Xiaohua smiled and said, "Just a while, little brother will be back soon." With that said, Xiaohua activated his space escape technique and flew away, leaving Yuanya to accompany Zhang Qingxiao. Yeah. Seeing that there was no problem, Zhang Qingxiao tried to find a topic. "Who are your Fortune Gates sect master and 10 old masters?" This Yuanya was not as good at grasping opportunities as Xiong Yi. He was a little hesitant as he didn't know if Zhang Qingxiao knew these things. Seeing Yuanya's hesitation, Zhang Qingxiao waved her hand and said, "If you can't say, then don't say." Yuanya answered, "Let's wait for master to come back and ask him." "Where did your master go?" Zhang Qingxiao asked, looking in the direction Xiaohua had flown. "That seems to be the direction of Jingbo City. Junior doesn't know." Of course Yuanya didn't know, so he answered blankly. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qijian. Vote for it, vote for it, vote for it, give it as a gift, and thank you for all kinds of support. Chapter 5106. Not long after, Xiaohua turned around with a trace of disappointment on his face and said, "Let's go. Second senior brother, I've made up my mind. Come with me to Imperial Demon Valley first." Huh? Zhang Qingxiao was even more puzzled and asked, "Where did you go? Why did you change your mind as soon as you came back?" "It's nothing," Xiaohua said with a smile. "Little brother suddenly remembered that there's a family surnamed Zhu in Jingbo City. It's little brother's old acquaintance. Little brother is going to take a look." Zhang Qingxiao understood and said with a smile, "It's been hundreds of years. Ordinary qi refining cultivators have already fallen. Not to mention ordinary families. I'm afraid you won't be able to find any traces of them anymore, right?" "Indeed." Xiaohua nodded with disappointment and replied, "So little brother feels that things in this world are impermanent. Some things that should be done earlier. Then why are we going to Imperial Demon Valley?" Zhang Qingxiao asked. "Second senior brother, you'll know when you get there." Xiaohua didn't explain and only urged. After flying for a while, Zhang Qingxiao suddenly realized something. He looked at Xiaohua and said meaningfully, "Little junior brother, you want me to accompany you to Imperial Demon Valley? Is it because you don't know the way to Imperial Demon Valley?" Haha. Xiaohua laughed and replied shamelessly, "The one who knows Xiaohua is Zhang Qingxiao. If second senior brother doesn't take little brother with you, when can little brother find Imperial Demon Valley?" Cough cough. Zhang Qingxiao almost coughed out his tongue. He helplessly pointed in a direction and said, "Little junior brother, can you not be so bored? Imperial Demon Valley is over there. You have Yuan Yu accompanying you. Why can't you find it? Let's go. I asked you to lead the way and you're still so long-winded." Xiaohua pretended to be unhappy. He grabbed Zhang Qingxiao with his big hand and his figure swayed. The sound of thunder faintly came from the void. His figure disappeared in the blink of an eye. When he reappeared, he was already on top of a mountain range. This was a towering mountain range that stretched for thousands of miles. This mountain range was very strange. There were no trees on the mountain range, no birds or beasts, only crimson red rocks. The surface of the mountain gave off a faint glow, and within the glow, countless talismans slowly rotated. However, although the talisman flowed like water, there were many places where the talisman was missing. When the radiance of the talisman flowed to these places, it was as if it had hit a reef. It would either stop or turn around. It wasn't particularly smooth. It was noon and the sun was hanging high in the sky. The blazing sunlight shone on the crimson-red mountain rocks, giving rise to light. This brilliance was different from the brilliance of the talisman. It swayed with the wind like a burning flame. Above the mountain range, high up in the sky, there was no wind or clouds. The layers of void were filled with a faint grayish-white color, which seemed to be the traces left behind by the battle between immortals and demons. Within this grayish-white color, there were black clouds that looked like mountain ranges. Of course, these black clouds had already been torn apart. They were like rocks in the waves, and they were scattered and condensed within. Even the faint sound of thunder could be heard in the void. Traces of lightning were like candles in the night, faintly discernible. This must be the Imperial Demon Valley. Although Xiaohua had never been to the Imperial Demon Valley, he already understood when he saw the remaining restrictions between the mountain peak and the sky. Zhang Qingxiao stood still and looked around. He raised his hand and pointed at the end of the mountain range. That is the entrance to the Imperial Demon Valley. It is said that during the battle, there were thousands of human cultivators guarding it. Now, there are only some disciples of the Immortal Alliance patrolling it. Back then I was curious and came to take a look. However, the Immortal Alliance disciples were very powerful, so I didn't dare to get too close. Xiaohua nodded slightly and looked at the end of the mountain range. There was a valley entrance that was hundreds of feet wide. The valley entrance was different from the mountain range. Now it was firmly sealed by a strong formation, and not a trace of birds or beasts could be seen. The strong fluctuations of the formation spread out without any concealment, as if warning the approaching cultivators. At this moment, at the entrance of the valley, there were more than a dozen gold core cultivators wearing different clothes and holding different magic treasures in their hands. The 10+ gold core realm cultivators seemed to have a division of labor. 4 of them were guarding the entrance of the valley, while the other 10 gold core realm cultivators were flying in a seemingly disorderly manner in the sky in the shape of a battle array. After 5 minutes, another 5 gold core realm cultivators flew out of the battle array and flew towards where Xiaohua was standing by airboat along the direction of the mountain range. There is a detection magic treasure on this flying boat. It is extremely sensitive, Zhang Qingxiao reminded. Before he finished speaking, Zhang Qingxiao felt a flash of light and shadow in front of him, and his body became light. When he opened his eyes again, he was already standing in the valley. The space inside the valley was far more spacious than what it looked like outside the valley. It was probably several miles wide and narrow. The stone walls inside the valley were different from the stone walls outside the valley. Although they were both red rocks and had layers of restrictions, the restrictions here were more than 10 times finer than those outside the valley. There were fine lines where the runes rolled up, and those fine lines set off wind patterns. The wind patterns rushed into the runes and once again, they emitted a variety of brilliance. In the valley there were countless brilliances like dim candles under the sun. Just like outside the mountain range, most of the restrictions were broken, and the brilliance in many places had been extinguished. In particular, where the brilliance was extinguished, there was a black-red color that covered the entire mountain. This black-red color covered the entire stone walls of the valley, and its thickness was different. Xiaohua's nose twitched slightly, and a strong smell of blood immediately rushed in. It was obvious that this black-red color was dyed by the blood that splashed on the stone walls. Alas, it has been nearly 1,000 years. Why is it still so bloody? Xiaohua said as he looked into the depths of the valley. The stone walls of the valley seemed to have been completely washed by blood. It was a black-red color, and it was very strange. Although it was Zhang Qingxiao's first time entering the Imperial Demon Valley, some of the memories he inherited faintly appeared. He said faintly if it was just once or twice it naturally wouldn't be so bloody. But don't forget, every time the Great War of Immortals and Demons took place in the Imperial Demon Valley, and even outside the mountain range. On the stone walls of the Imperial Demon Valley, every inch of the mountain rock was splashed with the blood of millions of demons and humans. The blood has already soaked the mountain rocks and the talismans. Xiaohua sighed and looked into the valley. The valley was very calm, and there was even some wind, but the smell of blood in the air was still very strong. The yuan qi of heaven and earth in the Imperial Demon Valley was very rich, and at the same time it was also very tyrannical. Occasionally, in an unknown place in the distance, pung 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 sounds of explosions could be heard. Following the explosions, a strong small storm suddenly formed and rushed in all directions. Most of it hit the mountain rocks of the mountain range. On the crimson-red mountain rocks, the talismans flashed, and the storm that hit them disappeared without a trace. Even the black-red blood didn't fall down. Just like Zhang Qingxiao said, it was unknown how much blood had been spilled on it, and it was unknown how many years this blood had existed. Xiaohua took Zhang Qingxiao and Yuanya and slowly flew into the valley. An indescribable pressure came from the black-red mountain rocks, from the gray-black sky, and through their bodies, It fell deep into their hearts. Be careful. Xiaohua suddenly raised his hand and struck Zhang Qingxiao's right side. A spatial crack strangely appeared there and fell towards Zhang Qingxiao's shoulder. Xiaohua's punch just happened to land on the spatial crack. With a kacha sound, the spatial crack, along with the surrounding several zhang of space, shattered. That was close. Zhang Qingxiao was a little shocked. He understood in his heart that he didn't notice the spatial crack at all. If he was hit by it, even if he didn't die, he would lose half his life. Not only that, when Xiaohua shattered a part of the void, the nearby space, which was already unstable because of the battle, immediately reacted. Hundreds of spatial cracks appeared one after another. These spatial cracks appeared for an extremely short period of time, disappearing in a flash, but their destructive power was very strong. Occasionally, a spatial crack would hit the mountain rocks, and the blood on the mountain rocks would scatter, like the layer of soil on the rocks. Then the talismans on the mountain rocks would collapse, revealing the crimson-red mountain rocks. Only when the spatial cracks disappeared did the talismans around the mountain rocks slowly gather, gradually restoring the array. Let's go. Seeing the spatial rifts closing in on them, Xiaohua grabbed Zhang Qingxiao and shot into the depths of the valley. As they flew through the air, more spatial rifts appeared. But when they landed on Xiaohua's golden body, they were nothing more than cotton wool. Xiaohua flew all the way to the bottom of the valley. Everywhere he passed by had been cleaned up by Dao cultivators, but even so, there were still some remnants. Some were black bones, some were crimson remains, and so on. The deepest part of the valley was a place with a radius of 10,000 feet. This space was filled with the power of the world that Xiaohua was familiar with. Layer after layer of violent and bloodthirsty laws of heaven and earth seeped out from the space like wind threads. Moreover, behind these wind threads, there was a huge black and red fog. It was like a giant silkworm cocoon that was shackled by the strong power of the world. The fog violently tumbled behind the laws of the world. Within the black and red fog, there were countless severed limbs that moved up and down from time to time. There were even some wailing heads that suddenly appeared and let out silent screams. Xiaohua stood still and frowned slightly. He had already seen the barrier between the two worlds with his naked eye, and saw the center of the black and red fog. The core of the black and red fog was no longer fog, but extremely condensed. Drops of sticky blood mixed with the black flames slowly flowed in the center. The black flames surrounded a hole that was smaller than a thumb. Almost endless black gas and black flames overflowed from this hole. Because of the existence of the barrier between the two worlds, the black gas and black flames were unable to rush out, so they condensed at the core. Waves of obscure and indescribable sobbing sounds faintly came from this hole. In addition to the black gas and sobbing sounds, the depths of the hole were filled with blood-red light. It was impossible to see what was inside at all. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, give it a recommendation vote, collect it, give it a tip, and thank you for all forms of support. Chapter 5107. At this moment in this thumb-sized hole, countless thunderclaps resounded in the void, flashing with endless lightning. Wave after wave of slow, unparalleled, inhuman force emerged from the center of this hole and spread out in all directions. Under the power of this space, this hole was expanding bit by bit. Just as Zhang Qingxiao stood between the barrier between the human world and the devil world, the aura mixed with the laws of heaven and earth of the devil world enveloped him. Black gas and devil flames appeared around Zhang Qingxiao's body, and he could no longer maintain his human form. His body melted like water, but just as he was about to reveal the devil body of the Di Luo beast, Zhang Qingxiao roared in a low voice and quickly retreated. As he broke away from the laws of heaven and earth of the devil world, Zhang Qingxiao's human form slowly appeared again. However, at this time, Zhang Qingxiao's face was pale, blood was flowing from his lips, and his eyes were filled with fear and unwillingness. Xiaohua, Zhang Qingxiao said coldly, you brought me here in good faith. Why did you bring me here? Could it be that you want to see my original devil body? Xiaohua raised the corner of his mouth and said indifferently, it's not like I haven't seen your devil body of the Di Luo beast. Damn it! Hearing Xiaohua mention the Di Luo beast, Zhang Qingxiao's face became ferocious. He cursed in a low voice and shouted, I know I'm a Diluo beast, so what? Second senior brother. Xiaohua's face became gentle, and he said in a low voice, in your heart, is it that you still haven't let go of senior sister? Who said that? Zhang Qingxiao sneered, I have the heavenly demon sect, and there are countless devil concubines in the sect. I can favor whoever I want. Besides, I also have Yu Tong. Why are you still thinking about that withered woman at this time? Alas! Xiaohua looked at Zhang Qingxiao, who was trying her best to disguise herself, and sighed, second martial brother. Once you've crossed the blue ocean, it's no longer water. Apart from Mount Wu, it's no longer clouds. You're the same as Li Zongbao, you're both people with deep emotions. It's just that Li Zongbao is clean and upright, while you are reluctant to part with flowers and cover up the depression in your heart. I can't compare to you. Bullshit. Zhang Qingxiao jumped up and said, I'm not a sentimental person. I just like women. Don't compare me with that old white man. Beside him is Guyu, who is as beautiful as a flower. His heart is only thinking about the dead person in the crystal coffin. What's the use? I don't know if it's useful or not, but I do know that your performance is different from his, but the essence is the same. Xiaohua said with a smile. The more Zhang Qingxiao was angry, the more it showed that he had a guilty conscience. Bullsh *T. Zhang Qingxiao scolded again. If you have the ability, find someone to resurrect the dead man. If you want Li Zongbao to marry that dead woman, I will admit it. You admit it, right? Xiaohua immediately caught Zhang Qingxiao's faulty wording and laughed. I refuse to admit it. Zhang Qingxiao waved his hand and said, I only said to resurrect the dead man and solve Li Baita's problem. I'm the most handsome man in the world. How can I be compared to that old man Li Zongbao? Yeah. Xiaohua spread out his hands and said helplessly, little brother has already solved Li Zongbao's problem, so I came to help you. Don't stubbornly hold on. How is that possible? Zhang Qingxiao was disdainful and said with a sneer, are you lying to me? Do you think I'm a 3-year-old boy? Wanting to resurrect the dead, not to mention you, even immortals can't do it. Speaking until here, Zhang Qingxiao suddenly stared blankly as if he thought of something. He stood on the ground in disbelief and looked at Xiaohua. You remember now? Xiaohua smiled and said, in Yi Yin's message, although he didn't say that he met little brother, didn't he mention Liang's Kai family? Impossible. Zhang Qingxiao was flabbergasted and said, little junior brother, are you a god? You actually resurrected Kai Zhuoxia, that dead person? Actually, Kai Zhuoxia didn't really die. Xiaohua explained, her soul was just a little scattered, and little brother happened to have this divine ability. So others may think she was a dead person, but with little brother's divine ability, she was resurrected. Then, Zhang Qingxiao naturally thought of Xiao Yuehong. Unfortunately, before he could finish, Xiaohua immediately interrupted him and said, Master and eldest senior brother have indeed died, and it's been too long since they died. I can't do anything, and I don't have that divine ability. Sigh. Zhang Qingxiao sighed. Suddenly, his body went limp and he collapsed on the ground. Xiaohua hurriedly flew over and wanted to help Zhang Qingxiao up, but Zhang Qingxiao waved his hand and said, little junior brother, don't help me up first. Let me rest on the ground for a while more. I'm really tired. Now that Shang Huaming has you, I can finally rest. Hearing Zhang Qingxiao's words, Xiaohua's nose turned sour. He retracted his hand and simply lay on the ground. At this time, although there was no blue sky and white clouds, no grassland, and although there was a lot of blood and hostility, with such a brother accompanying him, this warmth was not inferior to any family affection in the world. After a while, Xiaohua said previously, little brother always felt that master was too lazy, always sitting on the small boat and not cultivating. Now I know that master's life is the life a cultivator should live. What a pity. Zhang Qingxiao also sighed and said, master is a good cultivator, but he's not a qualified sect leader. Moreover, Shang Huaming's luck is too bad. I actually encountered 3 nascent soul cultivators coveting me. Forget it, let's not talk about this. I'll leave this blood feud to you. I don't have to work so hard to break into the Shanghua sect and kill Sun Yunzi anymore. I know second senior brother. Leave this matter to little brother. Xiaohua replied word by word. Sun Yunzi must die. Let's forget about the Shanghua sect. Up to you. Zhang Qingxiao's eyes were closed as if he was asleep. He said in a low voice, "Actually, you don't know, my temper is even lazier than Master's. If it weren't for Master's supervision, I wouldn't even be able to compare to junior sister's Cultivation. However, since Shang Huaming's sect has been destroyed, only 2.5 disciples are left. As the second senior brother, I can only hide my lazy temper and use my own strength to protect you. Over the past 700 years I've done everything I can. This blood feud is like a mountain pressing down on my shoulders. I know that I won't be able to avenge Master and eldest apprentice brother for the rest of my life, but I've risked my life to cultivate. I've risked my life to expand my heavenly demon sect. I sometimes want to slack off, but my abilities are limited. I've protected you and junior apprentice sister. It's already very good that the three of us, Song Hua Ming, are able to live a good life. But when I think of Master's death and eldest senior brother's death, I can't stop the hatred in my heart. Shang Huaming and Yellow Flower Ridge have completely occupied my childhood memories. 3 nascent soul cultivators ruthlessly destroyed my memories and wiped out my happiness. How can I let them live in this world? Yes, I know, second senior brother. Xiao Hua reached out and patted Zhang Qingxiao. Zhang Qingxiao didn't open her eyes and continued to murmur, "Little junior brother, you're right. Every sentence and every word just now pierced my heart. I like junior sister. An unforgettable love engraved in my heart. Even now, as long as junior sister says she's willing to be with me, I can abandon everything. However, I also know that junior sister likes that Jiang Fan. Although Jiang Fan is already dead. When I was young, junior sister's affection for me was more than love. Now, junior sister's gratitude towards me is still more than love. Of course, I also know that at this time, if I say the words in my heart, junior sister will definitely walk with me and spend the rest of her life with me. However, she also felt guilty. This guilt was towards me, and also towards Jiang Fan. Instead of letting her feel guilty, why should I force her? The most important thing. Zhang Qingxiao was silent for a moment, and finally said, "I'm no longer a human. I thought that with my will, I could be stronger than the Di Luo beast that possessed me. But I underestimated the devil marks of the devil race. I've gradually become a devil. How can I let the person I love see my ugly side? Loving her doesn't necessarily mean having her. Loving her and giving her happiness is enough. Junior sister is the love of my life. I want to make her happy in this life. Little junior brother, I know you asked me to come to this Imperial Devil Valley to tell me that my time as a human is not long. In fact, I already knew this. I went to Yellow Flower Ridge this time to see the person I love for the last time. I don't want her to see me. I just want to see her eyes, her eyebrows, and even the wrinkles on her face. I like them all. Alas, unfortunately, I don't have a chance to kiss her in this life. This extravagant hope can only wait for the next life." Just as Zhang Qingxiao said this, suddenly 2 slightly hot lips touched his lips, and 2 drops of cold liquid dripped on his face at the same time. Damn it! Zhang Qingxiao was shocked. He was about to push the person away, but how could the warm tongue and the familiar fragrance in his mouth and nose be Xiao Hua? Zhang Qingxiao opened his eyes. Xiao Xianrui's flower-like face gradually blushed. Her pair of eyes had long been closed. Her long eyelashes were like frightened dragonflies, trembling rapidly. Buzz! A kind of incomparable happiness drowned Zhang Qingxiao like a tide. As the old saying goes, happy times are always short. Seeing the sun set in the west, and the Imperial Devil Valley was full of bloody light, Zhang Qingxiao reluctantly let go of Xiao Xianrui in his arms. Xiao Hua and Yuanya naturally wouldn't stay by his side. Zhang Qingxiao looked around and asked in a low voice, "Junior sister, how did you come here?" "After you and little junior brother left, I just finished instructing the disciples of 100 Herbs Gate. Before I could return to the medicine garden, I was pulled here out of thin air. And then..." Xiao Xianrui naturally knew that this was Xiao Hua's trick. She couldn't help but blush and lower her head. How could any woman in the world not be moved in front of such an infatuated man? P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please go to Qidian to subscribe to support, vote for a month, vote for a recommendation, collect, reward, and thank all forms of support. Chapter 5108. This guy. Zhang Qingxiao smiled bitterly. but her heart was also filled with sweetness. Cough cough. Xiaohua's cough came from afar. Xiao Xianrui, like a frightened bird, hurriedly turned her head and hid her face beside Zhang Qingxiao. How was she like a mother? So embarrassing. Zhang Qingxiao looked at Xiaohua, who was flying over, and said helplessly. But Xiaohua didn't laugh. Instead he said seriously, "Second senior brother, senior sister, time is short, we don't have much time left. In this world, most misunderstandings and undesired things are caused by not speaking clearly. Although little brother's actions were extremely reckless, little brother had no other choice. Please forgive me." Xiao Xianrui tried hard to turn her head, but in the end she couldn't. Zhang Qingxiao waved her hand and said, "Get up, I forgive you." "Thank you, second senior brother." Xiaohua got up, looked around and said, "Senior sister, please don't worry. Today's matter is known to the heavens and the earth, including the three of us. My disciple has already been taken into the Kunlun immortal realm. He can't know." Xiao Xianrui was stunned, and somewhat puzzled, turned her head and asked curiously, "Little junior brother, what do you mean?" "It's very simple." Xiaohua replied, "Second senior brother really doesn't have much time. He will soon turn into a devil. After he turns into a devil, he will definitely not let you see him, and little brother also advises you not to see him again. Just treat him as if he is already dead." Xiao Xianrui bit her lips. She had let go because of Xiaohua's appearance, but she once again held Zhang Qingxiao's hand, although the palm of her hand was cold. "Second senior brother is going. I naturally have to go too," Xiaohua said, "so no one will know about this matter." "You're going too?" Xiao Xianrui was even more puzzled. Aren't you the master of Fortune Gate? Where are you going?" "Junior sister." Zhang Qingxiao was shocked, and looked at Xiao Xianrui with some heartache. The place he is going is naturally the place all cultivators dream of. Immortal realm? Xiao Xianrui was so surprised that her mouth couldn't close, and then she was even more overjoyed and said, "I understand. Congratulations, little junior brother." "That's right." Xiaohua finally smiled and said, "Since little brother is going to leave, I can't leave behind any regrets." Hearing this, Xiao Xianrui looked at Zhang Qingxiao, hugged Zhang Qingxiao's arm and said, "I understand. Second senior brother and I have no regrets." "That's good." Xiaohua nodded. Little brother still has something to discuss with second senior brother. "Senior sister, you can go back first." "Okay." Hearing this, Xiao Xianrui naturally pulled her hand out of Zhang Qingxiao's arm. But just as she pulled her hand out, her eyes were filled with sadness. She opened her arms and hugged Zhang Qingxiao. Her eyes were filled with tears, and Zhang Qingxiao's chest was wet. Sigh. Zhang Qingxiao sighed and held Xiao Xianrui in his arms. After a meal, the two of them separated again. The two of them understood that today was the beginning and also the end. In this life, their fate would only last for a few hours. However, in just a few hours, the two of them were already satisfied. Their minds were connected like water flowing through a canal, and they were naturally connected. Xiaohua didn't delay. He took out the Kunlun mirror and the Feng Wu flew out. Xiaohua cupped his hands and said, "I'll have to trouble you to send her back again." "No problem." The Feng Wu grabbed with its claws. Zhang Qingxiao felt as if the world was closed. The huge force was far beyond his imagination. It was really like fate was ruthless. Xiao Xianrui was forcefully snatched from his arms by the Feng Wu. He opened his mouth wanting to say something but nothing came out. Xiao Xianrui was the same. Only 2 lines of tears and a pair of delicate hands were left in Zhang Qingxiao's eyes. "No need to look." Xiaohua said with a smile, "If you want to look, you can go to the herb garden on Xihua Peak." "Ah!" Zhang Qingxiao was stunned and said, "Didn't you say that I don't have enough time?" "I said that you don't have enough time," Xiaohua said with a smile, "but as long as little brother doesn't ascend, 8 or 10 years is no problem." "Damn it!" Zhang Qingxiao looked a little angry. He slapped Xiaohua's shoulder and shouted, "You dare to tease me? I'm not exaggerating." The Kunlun mirror in Xiaohua's hand slowly rotated. Just like the jade ball in Zhang Qingxiao's hand, you are now at the crucial point of transforming into a devil. Only when you understand the mortal world's long-cherished wish can you truly become a devil. Zhang Qingxiao ignored Xiaohua and asked in a low voice, "Who was that demonic beast just now? Why is he so powerful?" Didn't you want to see my fortune gates patriarchs? Xiao Hua replied, how come after seeing them, you've become Lord Ye's dragon? Ah, he's a demonic beast. Ah, he's actually your fortune gates patriarchs? Zhang Qingxiao was dumbfounded. He had thought that the fortune gate's 10 patriarchs were all humans. Xiao Hua didn't stop until he was shocked to death. More than that, my fortune gate's 9th patriarch is also a devil. With that said, the Kunlun mirror in Xiao Hua's hand was activated. Devil Qi roiled and devil flames covered the sky as an archdevil lord stepped out from the Kunlun mirror. Devil. Devil Lord? Archdevil Lord? Archdevil Lord? Zhang Qingxiao was dumbfounded. The devil aura around Archdevil Lord Shi was too vast. With Zhang Qingxiao's current strength, he couldn't estimate Archdevil Lord Shi's strength. Haha. Archdevil Lord Shi laughed loudly. This father is called Archdevil Lord Shi. I am the Fortune Gate's 9th patriarch. Greetings, Lord Archdevil Lord. Zhang Qingxiao didn't dare to slight Archdevil Lord Shi, and hurriedly knelt down. He understood that because of Xiao Hua's existence, Archdevil Lord Shi had concealed his aura. Otherwise, the moment he saw Archdevil Lord Shi, not only would he have reverted to his true form, he would also have collapsed to the ground. Get up. Archdevil Lord Shi laughed as he helped Zhang Qingxiao up. This father has heard about you from fellow Taoist Xiao. Since your human body is fated to be with fellow Taoist Xiao, this father will reluctantly accept you. No, it can't be, right? Zhang Qingxiao's body trembled. He couldn't believe it, but he understood that this was Archdevil Lord Shi's purpose in coming out. Thus, after a brief moment of shock, he knelt down again and kowtowed 9 times. Disciple greets master. Get up. Archdevil Lord Shi could only help Zhang Qingxiao up again and said, however, you can only be this old man's second disciple. Yes. Zhang Qingxiao nodded excitedly. To be able to become master's disciple, disciple is already very happy. Disciple doesn't care about the order. That's good. Archdevil Lord Shi saw this and opened his mouth. As demonic qi surged, the dragon Yinlu landed in front of Zhang Qingxiao and said, this is the dragon Yinlu. Fellow Taoist Xiao asked this father to repair it. Today I will bestow it to you. Zhang Qingxiao received the dragon Yinlu and was even more delighted. Thank you, master, for your generous gift. After this item, there are even better things for you. Archdevil Lord Shi thought for a moment and said, however, this item can't be used in the Dawn Rain continent. You can only use it after you reach the demon realm and completely recover your demonic body. Yes, disciple is already very happy with this demonic artifact. Zhang Qingxiao smiled. As for the other things, master can bestow them as you see fit. Archdevil Lord Shi looked at Xiao Hua and said, Big brother, can I show him that item? Xiao Hua shrugged and said, this is between you and your disciple. It has nothing to do with I. Alright. Archdevil Lord Shi smiled and said to Zhang Qingxiao, our demon race doesn't have so many scruples. This father will let you see the world first and know what you have to do in the future. Don't belittle yourself. Seeing Archdevil Lord Shi actually say belittle himself, Xiao Hua couldn't help but curl his lips, thinking to himself, he's actually like the Thunder Immortal, dropping his book bag. While Zhang Qingxiao was still in absolute shock, the demon Venerable Shijiang opened his mouth. Inside the fist-sized magic crystal, the broken body of the demon Venerable Ju of the West Slang demon region appeared. Although it was separated by the magic crystal, the aura that was similar to the demon mark origin still made Zhang Qingxiao feel very close to it. Master. After Zhang Qingxiao recovered from her shock, she prostrated herself on the ground and shouted, disciple will definitely not have any thoughts of inferiority. Disciple will definitely cultivate to the demon lord realm. Haha. Archdevil Lord Shi swallowed the demonic crystal and clapped his hands. That's good. I estimate that I can only take in 7 disciples. So far, these 2 disciples have the hope of cultivating to the demon lord realm. At that time, they will also be legends in the demon realm. Ah! Zhang Qingxiao was stunned and asked curiously, senior brother is also a demon lord? How? Archdevil Lord Shi glared and said unhappily, what? Is the demon lord not valuable now? Disciple does have this kind of feeling. Zhang Qingxiao replied with a smile. Second senior brother. Xiao Hua hurriedly said, "Your master's first disciple is the demon dragon that I told you before." Demon dragon? Zhang Qingxiao was dumbfounded and said, "No way. I thought you were joking with me." Haha. Archdevil Lord Shi laughed and raised his hand to point at Zhang Qingxiao, saying, "You can be considered a lucky person. With Dragon Shensi becoming a demon in front of you in the future, when you become a demon, there will be someone to guide you." With that, Xiaohua activated the Kunlun mirror. Within the pillar of light, Dragon Shensi's half-human half-dragon demon body appeared. And a demon aura that was as hard to measure as Zhang Qingxiao's rushed out. "Oh my, this is that demon dragon, it is indeed powerful." Zhang Qingxiao was secretly speechless, and thought to himself, "If I have this kind of master, won't I be able to do whatever I want in the demon realm in the future?" Dragon Shensi's demon body landed in the air, and his tightly closed eyes opened for a moment. Looking at the barrier of the demon realm, he said in a low voice, "Master, are you going to break the barrier?" "No." Archdevil Lord Shi replied cleanly, "I have taken in another disciple, let me show you." "Oh." Dragon Shensi's dragon eyes turned, sweeping past Xiao Hua and looking at Zhang Qingxiao. Zhang Qingxiao's original demon body naturally could not be hidden from Dragon Shensi. Dragon Shensi's eyes flashed with contempt for no reason, and he replied, "Greetings, junior brother. I am currently transforming my demon body, so I cannot greet you. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please go to Qidian to subscribe to support. Vote for a month. Vote for a recommendation, collect reward. Thank you for all forms of support." Chapter 5109. Zhang Qingxiao's heart was filled with shame and anger. But he knew better than anyone that he deserved this kind of disdain. No matter how he looked at it, he couldn't compare to Long Shensi. If he wanted respect, he could only cultivate. Reach the realm of Demon Lord. Therefore, Zhang Qingxiao put away his shame and anger, and bowed calmly. "Little brother Zhang Qingxiao greets senior brother." And Long Shensi nodded and said, "Wait until I finish reconstructing my demon body, then I will pass on everything I have comprehended to junior brother." "Little brother thanks senior brother." Zhang Qingxiao didn't dare to delay and bowed again. "Master." Long Shensi closed his eyes and said, "Disciple is now at a critical moment. If there is nothing special, please don't disturb disciple. Also, if possible, please go to the demon world as soon as possible. Disciple has already sensed that the nearby demon chi is not enough to support disciple's recovery." "Lousy nose." Demon Lord Shi replied. Xiaohua activated Kunlun mirror and kept Long Shensi. Once Long Shensi left, Zhang Qingxiao curled his lips and said, "Master, where did you get this disciple? Why is he so arrogant?" "Haha." Demon Lord Shi laughed and said, "Can't help it, he is." Speaking until here, Xiaohua interrupted Demon Lord Shi and said, "Second senior brother, his background is more noble than yours. You don't have to ask too much, just be yourself." "Yes, Lousy understands." After Zhang Qingxiao said lousy, he regretted it. If Demon Lord Shi wasn't here, he would have called him lousy. But he called Demon Lord Shi his master, and Demon Lord Shi called Xiaohua big brother. If he still called himself lousy in front of Xiaohua, wouldn't it be taking advantage of his seniority? Luckily, Xiaohua didn't mind and said, "Also, you saw it too, the demon race is different from the human race. It is based on strength. Your master can't be too protective of you. You must know how to be patient." "Don't worry, I understand." Zhang Qingxiao knew Xiaohua's painstaking efforts and promised, "I will let them see me in a new light." Demon Lord Shi spat out a jade slip from his mouth and handed it to Zhang Qingxiao. These are some simple cultivation techniques, and also the comprehension of the demon body. Take this time to look at it carefully. "Thank you, master." Zhang Qingxiao took it, but before she could take a look at it, she felt an aura surging from the side. Zhang Qingxiao hurriedly turned around, only to see Fengwu flying in from outside the valley. "So fast?" Zhang Qingxiao was somewhat worried. She looked at Xiaohua and asked in a low voice, "Have you already sent junior sister here?" "Yes." Xiaohua nodded, and then he said to Fengwu, "Since fellow Taoist has returned, then there's no need to trouble fellow Taoist to send Zhang Qingxiao away as well." After saying that, Xiaohua turned his head and asked Zhang Qingxiao, "Where is second senior brother going?" Let my Fortune Gate's fifth old master accompany you. I wouldn't dare, I wouldn't dare. Hearing this, Zhang Qingxiao was shocked and hurriedly waved her hand. Don't mention it. You still have to find a list of enemies for fellow Taoist Xiao. The sooner the better. Feng Wu replied with a smile. Since that's the case, I'll have to trouble you, senior. Zhang Qingxiao was not pretentious and said to Xiaohua, little junior brother, I will go back and personally look for Zhang Zhihao. I will stay near him and wait for this list. All right. Xiaohua nodded and replied, don't make it too difficult. If you can't find it, then forget it. This is just a small matter. Brother understands, Zhang Qingxiao said and put away the Qiu Yin Lu. Just as she was about to leave, Xiaohua suddenly thought of something and slapped his forehead. That's right, little brother forgot an extremely important thing. Oh, what is it? Zhang Qingxiao stopped and looked at Xiaohua strangely. Xiaohua looked into Zhang Qingxiao's eyes and spat out two words, Ji Peng. Damn it. Zhang Qingxiao's expression changed greatly. Obviously, this Ji Peng was a knot in her heart. Ji Peng already has the strength of a devil commander. Xiaohua was well aware of the change in Zhang Qingxiao's heart. He smiled and said, moreover, he also borrowed the body of Du Peng, a spirit-severing cultivator from Defeat You Immortal Union. This time he followed little brother through millions of Meng Mountains to Dawn Rain Mainland. Little brother originally planned to kill him when we reached Dawn Rain Mainland. However, I didn't expect an accident to happen. He came here first and I don't know where he is now. Little brother wanted to tell you before, but seeing that your emotions were unstable, you didn't dare to speak. Today you will be traveling alone, so you need to be careful. Brother understands. Zhang Qingxiao panicked for a moment before calming down and said, although brother's strength is not as strong as Ji Peng, with the Qiu Yin Lu in my hands, how can I be afraid of him? Let Yuanya come with us. Xiaohua said and was about to activate the Kunlun mirror. Please don't. Zhang Qingxiao stared at Xiaohua and said, I still need to bid farewell to you Tong and the others. How do you want me to bid farewell to a Dao cultivator senior? Haha. Demon Venerable sure laughed loudly. He raised his hand and a strand of demonic energy entered Zhang Qingxiao's forehead. He said, Daddy will release a demonic view for you. If you are in any danger, just activate your demonic energy. Daddy will rush over as soon as possible. Then, seeing that Demon Venerable sure released the demonic view without discussing with him, Zhang Qingxiao was helpless. He nodded and said, then disciple thanks master. Go. Demon Venerable sure waved his hand and Zhang Qingxiao followed Feng Wu. Demon Venerable sure looked at Zhang Qingxiao's back and laughed. This kid is interesting. If Daddy told him that there was Daddy's clone in that demonic energy, he probably wouldn't agree, right? That's right, taking him as a disciple is much more interesting than Long Shenxi. Xiaohua said and looked at the barrier of the demon realm. When you reach the demon realm, you won't feel bored. Indeed, Demon Venerable sure nodded. Long Shenxi has been in a high position for a long time. If not for the situation forcing him, he wouldn't have lowered his head to you and me, much less take me as his master. Xiaohua squinted his eyes and looked at the demonic energy behind the barrier of the two realms. He didn't speak for a long time. After a long while, he opened his mouth and said faintly, there is no such thing as master and disciple in the demon realm. Long Shenxi's instincts are still demonic. However, you don't have to care too much about it. Long Shenxi should be trustworthy. Demon Venerable sure shrugged and replied, I don't care if he is trustworthy or not. I am only borrowing the demon realm to fly to the demon swamp. Demon swamp, demon swamp. That is a taboo place no matter if it is the immortal realm, heavenly court or Buddha kingdom. Little brother is really looking forward to it. I don't know what surprises are waiting for little brother there. After speaking, Demon Venerable sure looked around and said with disdain, as for this place, it is only a small crack between the demon realm and Dawn Rain continent. Those who can pass through this crack to reach Dawn Rain continent are only some unremarkable demons in the demon realm. Dawn Rain continent's cultivators dare to say that this is a great war between immortals and demons. If Elin continent's cultivators heard this, wouldn't they laugh their heads off? What demon-resisting valley? Xiaohua disagreed and said back then in the eyes of nascent soul cultivators and above, the Sword Dao War was just a training for low-level disciples of Dao cultivators and sword cultivators. But in the eyes of us Qi refinement and foundation establishment disciples, it was a life and death battle that spread throughout the 3 cultivation countries and Huan country. If you look at it now, it would probably be like a joke. The battle in the Imperial Devil Valley was the same. In the eyes of the cultivators of the Dawn Rain continent, it was a battle of life and death between the Dawn Rain continent and the Devil world. However, in the eyes of the Heaven Alliance and the Tao Alliance of the Yilin continent, it was just an ordinary battle. Oh, even a cultivator who defeated Immortal Alliance and broke through Mount Meru's Buddha formation can become Immortal Alliance's Vice Alliance leader. Presumably, this Vice Alliance leader Luo Xingtian Luo also obtained glory in Dawn Rain continent that he did not obtain in Yilin continent. No wonder Taoist Yuan Kong and the others wanted to come to Dawn Rain continent to have fun. After speaking, Xiaohua waved his hand as if he was chasing away a fly and said impatiently, "Forget it. Let's not talk about this. You and I are destined to have no fate with Dawn Rain continent's great war between immortals and demons. Take a look, this is the barrier to the demon realm. With your strength, can you pass through it?" Without waiting for Demon Venerable Shi to speak, Feng Wu flew back from outside the valley with a strange expression. Xiaohua did not mind and asked casually, "Thank you for your trouble." "No problem," Feng Wu replied. Xiaohua did not have the heart to talk to him and did not return to the space. Instead, he stood at the side as if he had something to tell Xiaohua. Demon Venerable Shi did not care about Feng Wu's return. He looked at the restriction in the space and said, "There is a restriction placed by Dawn Rain continent's cultivators on this realm barrier. It is specially used to detect the situation of the space barrier. Although this restriction is like paper in our eyes, it cannot be restored after being pierced. It will definitely attract the attention of Immortal Alliance." Xiaohua nodded and said, "I know this. I just want to ask you if you can pass through this realm barrier." Demon Venerable Shi thought for a moment and looked at the space on the left. His hands tore towards the space and the already unstable space was immediately torn apart. As Demon Venerable Shi tried to send in a spell, the vague realm passage and terrifying realm aura began to surge. Demon Venerable Shi hurriedly stopped the spell and covered the space. He smiled and said, "No problem. This place is not like the 3 continents in 10,000 demon realm. The realm passage here is often opened. As long as I use the space escape technique and the space stabilization technique I obtained earlier, I can smoothly reach the demon realm. After reaching the demon realm, remember to cover up the space barrier." Xiaohua's heart was set. He warned, if possible, try to occupy the demon realm near the space barrier. Don't let the demon realm people harass Dawn Rain continent in the future. "I will try my best." Demon Venerable Shi shrugged and said, "You should tell this to Zhang Qingxiao. He will stay in the demon realm longer than me." "I don't need to tell him this. He knows it very well." Xiaohua smiled and replied. Feng Wu looked around and interrupted, "Dao friend, other than the demon realm's laws of heaven and earth, there doesn't seem to be any other realms. Are you sure you entered from here? Vote for it, vote for it, vote for it, gift it. Thank you for all forms of support." Chapter 51:10. I'm almost certain. Xiaohua pointed at the valley in the distance and said, "There are some caves there. I have some vague memories. If I'm not mistaken, I suddenly fell onto this battlefield during the Great Immortal Demon War. Then I was discovered by 2 soul-severing stage and body integration stage cultivators. They searched my soul and sealed my Dantian and Mud Pill Palace. Little Black and Little Yellow didn't fall here, but somewhere else?" Feng Wu asked. "I'm afraid so." Xiaohua nodded. "Didn't you see that the 9 origin realm was in one place in the 10,000 demon realm? But when it reached the Yilin continent, it was actually spread across the Yilin continent and turned into 9 forbidden areas. Although I arrived at the Dawn Rain continent with Little Yellow and Little Black, because the time we fell into the realm was different, the distance between us was naturally different." "Yes." Feng Wu nodded. "This is fate. If it wasn't for Little Yellow, how could you have met Xianwan? If it wasn't for Little Black, you also wouldn't have met Ziming." "Yes." Speaking of Ziming, Xiaohua's heart was filled with helplessness. He nodded slightly. The fate between people is so strange, it's hard to explain. "Then what about fellow Taoist and the Imperial Thunder sect?" Feng Wu suddenly asked. "Imperial Thunder sect?" Xiaohua frowned and asked curiously, why did fellow Taoists suddenly mention the Imperial Thunder Sect? Fengwu raised her phoenix claw and took out a jade slip. She handed it to Xiaohua and said, I sent Zhang Qingxiao back. Just as I flew out of the void, a message came. After Zhang Qingxiao finished reading it, she gave this jade slip to I and asked I to pass it to fellow Taoist, saying that it was a matter of the Imperial Thunder Sect. If you weren't here, he would have gone to take a look. But since you're back, he wouldn't do anything unnecessary. Xiaohua took the jade slip and looked at it. His face was somewhat gloomy, as if he couldn't make a decision. After a while, Xiaohua looked up and asked Fengwu, what does fellow Taoist think? The Imperial Thunder Sect betrayed fellow Taoist, but the Myriad Thunder Valley didn't betray fellow Taoist. Unfortunately, Xue and I won't watch as the Imperial Thunder Sect is in trouble. Since fellow Taoist can call Martial Uncle Jin Qing and Junior Martial Sister Sun Shu, it means that you haven't put the Imperial Thunder Sect down in your heart. Why should you put a mere fairy Xianhua in your eyes? Fengwu's thoughts were naturally Xiaohua's thoughts. Then I'll have to trouble fellow Taoist to make another trip. Xiaohua nodded, took out the Kunlun mirror, and handed it over to Fengwu. Fengwu rolled her eyes and said, you're used to ordering me around, fellow Taoist. How many times have you flown? This Dawn Rain continent space is odd. Each time I execute spatial escape art, it feels awkward. Big Brother Huang Tong has yet to return. Isn't it because Big Brother Fengwu's spatial escape technique is powerful? If you don't go, who will? Demon Venerable sure flattered. Ha ha ha, just based on your words, fellow Taoist, I should also make a trip. After Fengwu finished speaking, she flapped her wings and left. Xiaohua coldly looked at a place and said, sure, you should also go back and prepare. When the Great Array is broken, or before this poor Taoist ascends, you will bring Long Shenxi and Zhang Qingxiao from here and break through to the demon realm. Okay, Big Brother. Demon Venerable Shu's figure rolled, turned into a demonic cloud, and rushed into space. Xiaohua's figure slowly flew up, but he didn't rush out of the Imperial Demon Valley. Instead, he landed in the foothills that he was familiar with and carefully looked at it. Zhang Qingxiao handed over the communication jade slip she obtained to Fengwu, and respectfully sent Fengwu into the void. Only then did she carefully look around and was about to use the communication secret technique. But at this moment, another mysterious shadow flew out from the mountain stream. A demonic shadow turned into a bat and landed in front of Zhang Qingxiao. Zhang Qingxiao was obviously startled. He raised his hand and grabbed the demonic shadow. Looking around, he shouted with lingering fear, damn it! That communication jade slip just now gave me a fright. If it weren't for the Fortune Gate's fifth old master, I would have run away. This communication jade slip is even worse. Why did you send a demonic shadow message for no reason? You almost scared me to death. Zhang Qingxiao didn't open the communication jade slip. Instead, he turned into a demonic shadow and moved stealthily on the ground for a moment. Only when he reached a dark place did he stop. He released his divine sense to check again, then straightened his back and opened the communication jade slip. He muttered under his breath, your grandmother, isn't it just a jipeng? Do you think I'm afraid of you? However, before Zhang Qingxiao could finish cursing, he was stunned on the spot. His face revealed an expression of not knowing whether to laugh or cry. After a while, he looked at the communication jade slip again in disbelief. He then put it away and cursed in a low voice. They say that fortune doesn't come in pairs and misfortune doesn't come alone. I didn't believe it, but looking at it today I'm already dizzy. I can't figure out who is fortune and who is misfortune. I haven't seen Xiaohua for nearly 1,000 years. Whether it's the Imperial Thunder Sect, Li Zongbao or Fairy Hongxia, they all said that he's safe and sound. Xiaohua has just returned to the Dawn Rain mainland, so why are things about him happening one after another? I just received a message from the Imperial Thunder Sect, and now there's a message about Fairy Hongxia. How am I supposed to live? Although Xiaohua has a bad temper and won't take the initiative to find trouble, if you provoke his reverse scale, won't he turn the Dawn Rain mainland upside down? Fortune Gate's fifth old master. Fortune Gate's fifth old master. Zhang Qingxiao called out a few times in an exaggerated manner. He then pinched his chin as if he was thinking. After a while, he muttered again. I don't have Xiaohua's communication jade slip. If I send a message to the Imperial Thunder Sect now, I'm afraid the cucumber will be cold. Forget it, since the Fortune Gate has issued a summons, Xiaohua can also receive it from the Imperial Thunder Sect. When he sees the summons, he will immediately understand what's going on. There's no need for me to draw legs on a snake. But Zhang Qingxiao frowned as he looked in the direction of the Sky Patrol City. He was somewhat puzzled. I don't know if Fairy Hongxia really has a change of heart or is she just pretending to delay. She actually wants to be engaged to the Yi family's young lord? The strangest thing is that the engagement ceremony is actually held in the Sky Patrol City? As for this Zhonghauren, I used to think that other than being loyal to junior brother, he has no other redeeming qualities. Today my eyes have lit up. He actually realized that this is an excellent opportunity to unite the Fortune Gates people. He even used Daoist Zhao's name to issue a summon order, ordering all Fortune Gates disciples to head to the Sky Patrol City to stop the engagement ceremony. Zhonghauren thought it through well. He thinks that regardless of whether this matter succeeds or fails, he can establish the Fortune Gates authority among the small sections. This will make it easier for him to integrate and lead the Fortune Gate in the future. But he doesn't know that the Huan Country's sword cultivators and my Heavenly Demon Sect's Earth Fiend Sect, Renhua Sect, and Earth Spirit Sect are also prepared to use this battle as an opportunity to wipe out the small sects like the Fortune Gate in one fell swoop. This will allow them to gain as much control as possible over the three countries. The Earth Fiend Sect, Renhua Sect, and Earth Spirit Sect's deputy sect masters really deserve to die. They didn't even discuss this matter with me. Do they think that just because I didn't restrain them all these years I don't care about them? Do they think that I can't do anything to them? Oh, not good. Yi family. Damn it, how could I forget about the Yi family's ambition? The Huan country's Yi family must also want to get their hands on the three countries. That's why they set up such a trap. If the engagement ceremony is real, the Yi family and the Kai family will join hands and the Yi family's forces will enter the hinterland of the Shi country. If the engagement ceremony is fake, the Yi family will be like the sword cultivators and the three sects, dividing the Fortune Gates forces. Regardless of whether the engagement ceremony is real or fake, Sky Patrol City will be the center of another sword battle. Yi Yaotiana, you really have a good plan. Unfortunately, the Yi family has calculated everything, including the Huan country and the three countries, but they didn't calculate that the real Daoist Xiao has already returned to the Dawn Rain mainland with the supreme strength of the human race. These calculations will definitely be seen by Daoist Xiao. His thunderous methods will fall like rain, just in time to help me deal with the Heavenly Demon Sect's traitors. TSK, I have to say that junior brother is really lucky. I have always disliked his low profile and looked down on his forbearance. If I had his strength, I would have already killed in all directions and my reputation would have spread far and wide. Under such glory, how could I see the filth in these people's hearts? It seems that I should also learn to hide my strength and bide my time in the future. Zhang Qingxiao muttered to himself as he once again moved towards the distant mountain range. He felt that since Zhonghauren had issued a summon order, the Dawn Rain mainland's Fortune Gate would immediately gather at Sky Patrol City. With Xiaohua's ability, he would definitely receive the summon order, and there would be no need for him to send a message to Xiaohua. However, he forgot that Xiaohua did not need to fly to the Imperial Thunder Sect. Xiaohua only needed to tear the void and use the space escape technique to reach the Imperial Thunder Sect. How could he receive Zhonghauren's summon order in time? The Imperial Thunder Sect was still the Imperial Thunder Sect. 1,000 years was but a blink of an eye, not leaving too many traces in the Layamo mountain range. Under the curtain of night, the moonlight was as beautiful as water, illuminating the entire Layamo mountain range. On the mountain range, whether it was rocks, vegetation, or immortal birds and beasts, everything was clearly visible under the brilliance of the moonlight. Above the starry sky, several thin clouds would occasionally drift by, blocking the moonlight. The moonlight was like water blocked by a reef, either flowing elsewhere or backtracking. At the place where the moonlight was distorted, layers of lightning threads appeared. These lightning threads were like flames, burning fiercely and intertwining to form a lightning net. The lightning net flashed and disappeared into the void, covering the entire Layamo mountain range tightly. Swoosh! In the distant sky, Several flying boats passed through the curtain of night and slid to the left side of the mountain range. Lightning flashed on the flying boats, looking like falling meteors from afar. Swoosh, swoosh. In an instant, from a hidden place in the mountain range, several disciples wearing battle armor soared into the sky. The one in front was a mid-foundation establishment cultivator, holding a heavy halberd, standing majestically in midair, quietly watching the flying boats approach. The other Qi refining disciples were also in high spirits, standing behind the foundation establishment cultivator with calm gazes. When the flying boats approached, the mid-foundation establishment cultivator shouted, "Which Lightning Palace disciple is returning to the sect? Why haven't you gotten off the boat and reported?" P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, give it a recommendation vote, collect it, reward it, and thank you for all forms of support. Chapter 51:11. As he shouted, the lightning on the flying boat slowly disappeared. A cultivator in the late stage of the foundation establishment realm flew down from the flying boat. Although he was facing a junior in the foundation establishment realm, he didn't dare to be negligent. He hurriedly took out his token and handed it to the patrolling disciple. "Disciple Kangsu from Canlei Palace. I've brought 10 disciples back from their training. Please let them pass." The patrolling disciple took the token and looked at it carefully. He then looked up at the 10 disciples on the flying boat and returned the token to Kangsu. He said loudly, "Today, I verified that Kangsu and 10 disciples of Canlei Palace have returned from their training. Please let them pass." Following the foundation building disciple's voice, the dozen or so aura refining disciples behind him took out magic tools from their bosoms. They then urged their figures to scatter and rush to different places. Once their magic tools emitted different colored lightning bolts, they each shot out a strand of lightning from midair. Like a stream of water, the lightning bolt swept through everything within a radius of several thousand feet. After the lightning bolt disappeared, the foundation building disciples smiled and respectfully saluted Kangsu of Canlei Palace. "Junior welcomes senior martial brother back from your training." Kangsu put away the token and helped the foundation building disciple up. He smiled and said, "You've worked hard. I'm training for myself. You're on duty here for my thunder controlling sect. Thank you for your understanding, senior," the foundation building disciple said with a smile. "This is junior's duty. We don't need to work hard." And Kangsu nodded. He looked at the Mount Lama in the night and asked, "What happened in the sect? Why did you suddenly send an urgent message asking us disciples who are training outside to rush back? Senior didn't explain in your messaging talisman?" The foundation building disciple was puzzled. However, he came to his senses after a while and said with a smile, "Maybe the messaging talismans sent by each Thunder Palace are different. Our Thunder Palace already explained the sect's 100 Halls competition when we sent the message." 100 Halls competition? Kangsu was even more puzzled. He asked, "What's that?" The patrolling foundation establishment disciple didn't answer immediately. He first looked to the left and saw that other patrolling disciples had already flown out to block the flying boats that were approaching. Only then did he withdraw his gaze and answer, "Senior, you must know that with the great change in the world's spiritual energy, not only is our Imperial Thunder sect unable to recruit enough disciples, even the cultivation of our original disciples has slowed down. The strength of the various halls and branches of the 8 great Thunder Palaces is gradually weakening, and some of them are even disappearing. In order to clean up the chaotic branches of the 8 major Thunder Palaces, the sect leader has issued the sect leader's order, ordering the branches of the 8 major Thunder Palaces of our Imperial Thunder sect to hold a martial arts competition. Those with excellent results will be rewarded, and those with poor results will be removed from their branches, and their disciples will be merged into other branches." "Oh, I see." Kangsu understood and said with a smile, "I understand now. Since the Sword War 700 years ago, the strength of our thunder controlling sect has been declining. When Master Qian Lazy reached the divinity branching stage and failed, Fairy Xianhua took over the thunder controlling sect. All the palaces and branches became more and more chaotic. Some palaces and branches only had a dozen people left. They didn't need to exist anymore. Moreover, from what I see, The sect leader's order is not only to clean up the branches, but also to boost the morale of our disciples and strengthen our Imperial Thunder sect. Senior, you're right. Seeing another flying boat approaching, the disciple on duty hurriedly said, Senior, you've come back late. You'd better hurry back to the sect. The 100 Palaces competition is coming to an end. If you go in now, you might be able to help your sect. There's another flying boat coming back. I'll go check it out. The disciple on duty bowed and hurried away. Kuan-Su moved his body and landed on the flying boat. The smile on his face was replaced with disdain, and he said in a low voice, If you have the energy, why don't you think about how to recruit better disciples? Think about how to resist the provocations of the various sections. What's the point of holding 100 Palaces competition behind closed doors and cleaning up branches? Master. An 11th layer chi refining disciple next to him whispered, Did something important happen in the sect? Nothing important. Kuan-Su said angrily, There's a martial arts competition in the sect, and they asked us to come back and participate. Are you kidding me? The disciple said in surprise, We're at a critical point in our training. Senior brother is about to break through to the 12th layer of chi refining, but for this martial arts competition, say no more. Kuan-Su waved his hand. We're already back. What's the point of talking about this? There will be more opportunities in the future. Let's wait for the next training. Yes, master. The chi refining disciple didn't dare to say more. He turned to the other disciples and said, Start the flying boat. We're going back to the sect. Yes. The disciple driving the flying boat complied, and the flying boat flew up again. After crashing into the array, it set off a little bit of lightning like rain. After the flying boat sank into the array, the circles of lightning ripples slowly disappeared. Kuan-Su stood on the flying boat. He felt a flash of light and shadow, and the scene in front of him changed. He focused his eyes and was slightly stunned. Why is there such a big formation? Above the Lamo mountains that stretched for thousands of miles, 8 flashing lightning balls were like huge lightning suns hanging quietly in the air. The lightning was like the sun, illuminating the entire mountain range. Under each lightning sun, thousands of disciples of the Imperial Thunder sect would stand in neat formations, either whispering or looking at the lightning suns. Looking at the thunder sun again, some of them had disciples fighting inside, while others were empty. Under the lightning suns where disciples were fighting, many disciples were cheering loudly. Under the lightning suns where there were no disciples, there were even disciples who were eager to fight, seemingly ready to charge into the lightning suns and fight. Thousands of disciples gathered in the Lamo mountains. It was extremely lively, orderly, and jubilant. What's going on? An chi refinement disciple looked at the scene in front of him and couldn't help but be dumbfounded. He whispered, Where did the lightning suns come from? Kuan-Su was obviously stunned as well. After a while he finally saw the clue and sneered. Look at the location of the lightning suns. Is it the main peak of the 8 lightning palaces? Yes, master is right. After Kuan-Su finished speaking, the other disciples came to their senses and took the lead. If it's the lightning suns produced by each lightning palace, what else could it be? Kuan-Su raised his hand and pointed. These are the 8 thunder fields of the 8 lightning palaces. 8 thunder fields? Of course, the chi refinement disciples hadn't been to the thunder fields, but how could any disciple of the Imperial Thunder sect not have heard of them? They couldn't help but feel stupid. But the dejected 12th level chi refinement disciple said, Master, I heard that the thunder fields of the Imperial Thunder sect are 1. It's just that the exits are in each lightning palace. Well, Kuan-Su was a little embarrassed. After all, he was only a late-stage Foundation establishment cultivator. How could he know too many secrets of the Imperial Thunder sect? He hesitated for a moment and was about to speak when a light figure flew over from nearby. It was a golden core cultivator. The golden core cultivator smiled and said, You guessed right. This is the thunder fields of the Imperial Thunder sect. Seeing this, Kuan-Su didn't dare to be negligent. He hurriedly flew down from the flying boat and said respectfully, Junior greets Uncle Master Kuan-Bo. Kuan-Su's disciples naturally also hurriedly flew out and bowed respectfully as they received the thunder boat. Haha, why did you come back so late? The golden core cultivator named Kuan-bo raised his hand and helped everyone up. He asked with a smile, seeming to be in a good mood. Uncle Master. Kuan-su hurriedly pointed at the 12th level Qi refinement disciple and said, Zhou Hong is on the verge of foundation establishment. Although I received the sect master's order, I thought that his opportunity was rare, so I waited for a few days. However, unfortunately, I didn't dare to wait any longer. Zhou Hong. Yes, I understand. Kuan-bo looked at Zhou Hong and nodded. It's a pity this time. However, Zhou Hong, don't be discouraged. If you don't succeed this time, there will be a next time. Now that the spirit Qi of heaven and earth has changed, being able to condense true Qi, and since the foundation establishment is already not easy, you have to work harder and strive for the next foundation establishment. Yes, Uncle Master, I understand. How could Zhou Hong not complain in his heart? But what could he say? Kuan-bo seemed to see the unwillingness in Zhou Hong's heart. After pondering for a moment, he took out a jade bottle and handed it to Kuan-bo. This is the only foundation establishment pill I have left. I'll give it to you. I wish you success in reaching foundation establishment this morning. Uncle Master. When Kuan-su heard this, he hurriedly waved his hand and said, You can't do this. Under the changes of heaven and earth, the exquisite grass is becoming increasingly scarce. Foundation establishment pills in the Imperial Thunder Sect are already scarce. Haha, why are you being so polite with me? Kuan-bo placed the jade bottle in front of Zhou Hong and said with a smile, No matter what, Zhou Hong is still a disciple of my Canlei Palace. I'm happy that a foundation building disciple has appeared in my Canlei Palace. Quickly accept it. Yes, thank you, Uncle Master. Zhou Hong's eyes were a little moist. The resentment in his heart had long disappeared. He took the jade bottle and said, I've already reached foundation establishment as soon as possible. Thank you for your concern, Uncle Master. Kuan-su was naturally happy as well. After thanking him, he looked at the 8 thunder fields in the distance and said curiously, Uncle Master, I'm not too clear about the thunder fields, but I've also heard that there's only one thunder field in the Imperial Thunder Sect. However, each Thunder Palace has a life and death temple and an entrance. Why are there 8 Thunder Fields now? Haha, what you all know is also correct. Kuan-bo looked at the Thunder Fields in the distance and said with a smile, Even I thought that there was only one Thunder Field before it was separated. However, when the 8 great Thunder Palace Masters used their divine abilities to separate the Thunder Fields, I realized that the Thunder Fields were just a formation space. When combined they were 1 and when separated they were 8. Oh, by the way, you all should know that every time you enter the Thunder Arena, the illusion inside is different. Because the Thunder Arena is divided into 8 parts, the time you enter is different, and the location is different, so the illusion will naturally be different. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian, vote for it, give it a recommendation vote, collect it and reward it. Thank you for all forms of support. Chapter 51:12. I've learned something. Realization dawned on Kuan-su. He looked at Kuan-bo's smile and smiled as well. He asked, Uncle Master, judging from your expression, my Canlei Palace's results are not bad? Currently, the 8 great Thunder Palaces are fighting their own battles. My Canlei Palace's Thunder Arena only clears the palace branches of my Canlei Palace. Kuan-bo replied, I don't know about the results of the other Thunder Palaces, but my Leisurely Rain Garden's results are not bad this time. They shouldn't be eliminated. Before the 100 Palaces competition, the disciples of Leisurely Rain Garden came to me several times to ask me to think of a solution. I was also worried about how to advise the Palace Master, but it seems that there's no need for that now. Oh right, Kuan-su, Jade Mountain's results don't seem to be good. You should hurry and see if you can make it to the last round. Huh? It can't be. Kuan-su was a little dumbfounded. He said in surprise, if the results don't go well, will my Jade Mountain be eliminated? Yes. Kuan-bo said seriously this time. The sect master has made up his mind to clean up from top to bottom. If Jade Mountain's results don't go well, it might really be eliminated and the disciples will join the other palaces. Yes, I understand. Kuan-su panicked when he heard that and hurriedly asked, Uncle Master, where is my Jade Mountain's disciple? He should be at the northeast corner of the Canlay Palace's Thunder Arena. Go quickly. Kenbo pointed in a direction and said, I'll take my leave. After Kensu finished speaking, he hurriedly led his disciples away. Kenbo looked at the backs of Kensu and the others and sighed slightly. Then he released his spiritual force and urged his body to look around. Not to mention that Kensu and the others were rushing to the Thunder Arena of the Canlay Palace, under the Thunder Arena of the Thunderous Palace, about a few miles to the west of the Thunder Sun. There were dozens of male and female cultivators gathered together. Wasn't the person standing in the middle of them Jua *****, who had cultivated to the late-stage Golden Core realm? At this moment Jua *****'s face was filled with nervousness as he looked inside the Thunder Sun. In the Thunder Sun, there were 2 Foundation establishment cultivators activating their Dharma artifacts and fighting. Xiangyang. Seeing a middle-aged cultivator get hit by the opponent's banner due to a moment of carelessness, Zhuoyang couldn't help but cry out, how could she too be so careless? On the left side of Zhua *****, Xiangyang and Yin Qinglian were also watching nervously. Hearing Zhua *****'s question, Xiangyang and Yin Qinglian looked at each other. Xiangyang smiled bitterly and said, Master's wife, our 10,000 Thunder Valley has few disciples. This is already Shi Tuo's 3rd battle. The first time he barely won. This time I'm afraid. Sigh. Behind Xiangyang, an old voice said, Master, if nothing goes wrong, Shi Tuo will lose this time. Xiangyang looked back and saw a wrinkled early-stage Golden Core realm elder looking at him apologetically. Although Xiangyang felt helpless, he could only console him. However, before he could say anything, Dui Qimeng, who was standing to the right of Zhuofei and was already a late-stage Golden Core realm cultivator, said, Zhenchuan, didn't your master just say that? Shi Tuo has already won 2 matches. His opponent is Zhen Gan from the Thousand Thunder Mountain. Zhen Gan's strength is not inferior to Shi Tuo's, and this is his first match. Just as Dui Qimeng said this, everyone cried out in alarm. Even Dui Qimeng couldn't help but cry out, Shi Tuo he. Looking back at the Thunder Sun, the early-stage Foundation establishment cultivator named Shi Tuo fought back despite being injured. Zhen Gan, who was also an early-stage Foundation establishment cultivator, laughed sinisterly. He activated a hidden magic weapon from the flagpole and attacked Shi Tuo's face. However, Shi Tuo actually had the intention to burn both jade and common stone. He ignored the magic weapon and spat out a flying sword from his mouth, which went straight for Zhen Gan's throat. This flying sword was released too suddenly, and Zhen Gan was caught unprepared. Seeing that the 2 Foundation establishment cultivators were about to perish together, not good. Zhen Quan was greatly alarmed and cried out in a low voice. His figure flashed and he was about to rush to the Thunder Arena. It was also at this critical moment, boom! A thunderbolt appeared on the Thunder Arena and struck between Zhen Gan and Shi Tuo. The place where the thunderbolt landed slightly shifted the space where Zhen Gan and Shi Tuo were located. Boom, whoosh, 2 low sounds were heard. Both Zhen Gan's magic tool and Shi Tuo's flying sword pierced the air. A dignified voice sounded, this battle is a draw. As the voice fell, Shi Tuo's figure flashed. He didn't have time to withdraw his flying sword, and had already fainted on the Thunder Arena. Damn it! Zhen Gan looked at Shi Tuo on the other side of the restriction and cursed in a low voice. He turned his head and looked outside the Thunder Arena. Opposite the myriad Thunder Valley was Thousand Thunder Mountain. Now there were dozens of disciples in Thousand Thunder Mountain. The one standing in front was Zhen Yu, who was already in the late-stage Gold Core realm. Zhen Yu was still short and fat, but his hair was already completely white. His triangular eyes were now just like Zhen Gan's, flashing with anger. Zhen Quan had already flown to the bottom of the Thunder Arena. A rainbow appeared on the Thunder Arena, carrying Shi Tuo out and landing in front of Zhen Quan. Zhen Quan took Shi Tuo, took out a medicinal pill from his bosom and put it in his mouth. Then, he flew back to the myriad Thunder Valley disciples. When Zhen Quan flew back, Shi Tuo had already woken up. He looked at Zhen Quan, then at the concerned crowd. Finally, he said to Zhuo Hongzhu, Ancestor, I didn't lose to the disciples of Thousand Thunder Mountain. My myriad Thunder Valley won't be wiped out. Zhuo Hongzhu's eyes were filled with tears as she looked at Shi Tuo. She couldn't help but feel proud that Myriad Thunder Valley had such a loyal disciple. Shuahongzhu said, "Don't worry, child. Our Myriad Thunder Valley won more than we lost in the past month. How could we be wiped out? You can rest at ease and recuperate." "That's good. I'm relieved." As Shitua answered, a few aura refining disciples flew over from behind the crowd and supported him. Shitua's real name was Zhan Tua, and he was Zhan Quan's disciple. These aura refining disciples were also his disciples. Counting with one's fingers, Myriad Thunder Valley now had 5 generations of disciples. Qinglian. After Zhan Tua was supported by his disciples, Xiangyang pondered for a moment, then said via voice transmission, "Shitua's Dao foundation was damaged when he used his flying sword just now. Do you still have medicinal pills to heal him?" This? Yan Qinglian hesitated for a moment, then said with a wry smile, "Husband, I naturally have ordinary medicinal pills. If it were ordinary medicinal pills, would I still need to ask you?" Xiangyang said somewhat anxiously, "I'm asking about the medicinal pills youngest junior brother left behind." Alas, husband! How could Yan Qinglian not know the anxiety in Xiangyang's heart? She said helplessly, "Youngest junior brother left behind a lot of medicinal pills, but it's been several hundred years. How many are left? Shouldn't we leave some for a rainy day?" "I know." Xiangyang didn't hesitate and said, "I've just checked Shituo's injuries. If we use the sex medicinal pills, they might be able to heal his injuries, but a damaged Dao foundation isn't easy to repair. This will be detrimental to his future cultivation. Shitua fought 3 battles for our Myriad Thunder Valley. As his master, we can't make him sad." "All right." Yan Qinglian still wanted to say something, but she knew Xiangyang's temper. If there was an exception, Xiangyang would have already shut his mouth when she first objected. Since he insisted on giving it to her, then she could only give it to him. Just as Yan Qinglian carefully took out a jade bottle from her storage bag, Dui Qiming suddenly said to Zhan Quan, "I have the medicinal pills your second martial uncle left behind. Take them and give them to Shitua. His foundation was damaged after 3 battles. If he can't repair it during the foundation establishment stage, I'm afraid it won't be easy for him to step into the golden core stage." Qiming. Yan Qinglian hurriedly took out the jade bottle and said, "I have some here too, sister-in-law." When Yan Qinglian took out the jade bottle, Dui Qiming had already stuffed another identical jade bottle into Zhan Quan's hands and said with a smile, "Hong Shun is now the deputy hallmaster of Lightning Thunder Hall. He usually sends some medicinal pills back to the valley. Although second martial brother's medicinal pills are good, Hong Shun's disciples and I have no use for them. Today, Shitua made a great contribution to our Myriad Thunder Valley. We can't treat him unfairly." Dui Qiming's words weren't without pride, but her action of taking out medicinal pills was to protect the Myriad Thunder Valley's disciples. Yan Qinglian opened her mouth and said with a smile, "Since that's the case, many thanks, junior martial sister." Hearing Yan Qinglian's agreement, Zhan Quan took the jade bottle and said respectfully, "Many thanks, martial uncle." Zhua **** had never cared about the trivial matters of the Myriad Thunder Valley. She had only listened to Yan Qinglian and Dui Qiming's words. Now that she saw Zhan Quan leave, she looked at Dui Qiming and asked, "Qiming, why hasn't Hong Shun returned yet?" Reporting to mistress, Dui Qiming hurriedly said, "For the 100 halls competition this time, not only will the various halls be sorted out, the various lightning palaces will also be ranked. The stronger ones will be rewarded by the sect master. The disciples of Lightning Thunder Hall have always had good cultivation. If they can get into the top 3 of Lightning Palace or the top 10 of Lightning Controlling Sect in this 100 halls competition, his position as the deputy hall master might be able to take half a step forward. Therefore, he has been busy in Lightning Thunder Hall." "Yes." Zhua **** nodded. "If Hong Shun can become the hall master of Lightning Thunder Hall, our Myriad Thunder Valley will have nothing to worry about." "Mistress, don't worry." Yan Qinglian laughed from the side. "Let's not talk about the performance of the disciples of my Myriad Thunder Valley in this 100 halls competition. Our strength is above average among the various halls and branches of Seismic Thunder Palace. It is impossible for Thunder Meng Daoist to remove my Myriad Thunder Valley from the list of halls and branches of Seismic Thunder Palace. Even if our Myriad Thunder Valley loses in this 100 halls competition, our Myriad Thunder Valley won't be eliminated because of the sect Master Qian Lazy's sect order. Yin Qinglian was naturally referring to the time when Qian Lazy found out that Xiaohua was nascent soul Wu Ming. On one hand, he ordered Lightning Meng Daoist to chase after Xiaohua with the sect master token. On the other hand, he issued another sect master token. This sect master token was to rope Xiaohua in and allow the Myriad Thunder Valley disciples to continue guarding the Myriad Thunder Valley. It was to let Xiaohua see the lightning controlling sect's sincerity, and that he wouldn't hold a grudge against them for expelling him. That's true. Zhua **** sighed in relief after hearing Yin Qinglian's words. This old one is old and forgot about this matter. With Qian Lazy's sect master token, our Myriad Thunder Valley should be able to sit back and relax. Vote for it, give it a recommendation vote, collect it, tip it, and thank you for all forms of support. Chapter 51:13. Xiangyang looked at Zhua ****'s worry from the side, and his heart ached. He clearly knew that the existence of Myriad Thunder Valley wasn't just Zhuohua's responsibility as a teacher. It was also a helpless promise she had made to her master. Xiangyang still clearly remembered that over 600 years ago, after Xiaohua had been expelled from the Imperial Thunder Sect, he had helplessly condensed his core and left seclusion. When he heard that Xiaohua had been expelled, his complexion changed greatly. He clenched his teeth and angrily cursed Xiaohua for losing face for Myriad Thunder Valley. When the news came later, he helplessly learned that Xiaohua was not only the terrifying phoenix in the Great War of Dao and Sword, but also the mysterious Yuanying stage cultivator Wu Ming, who had made great contributions in the Great War of Dao and Sword. At that time, he was so angry that his face turned ashen and he almost vomited blood. Afterwards, he helplessly led all the disciples of the Myriad Thunder Valley to the Thunder Immortal Peak, preparing to kneel in front of the Great Thunder Hall and demand an explanation for Xiaohua. Unfortunately, before the people of Myriad Thunder Valley could reach Thunder Immortal Peak, they were blocked by the disciples of Heavenly Thunder Palace, who then led Helpless into Huge Thunder Hall. After half a day, with a helpless expression on his face, Helpless returned with Master Qian Lei's handwritten order for Xiaohua to return to Imperial Thunder Sect. However, just as Helplessness finished recounting what had happened in the enormous Thunder Hall, Xue of the Sun Thunder Palace hurried over, saying that she had an urgent matter to report to Helplessness. Helplessly, his discussion with Xue in the secret chamber only lasted the time it took to brew a cup of tea. Helplessly, he brought Xue out of the Myriad Thunder Valley. Before he left behind a jade slip and a sentence for Zhuohanggu. At that time, Xiangyang was also present. He clearly remembered that sentence. Your husband has an urgent matter to attend to and will be away for a few days. I will entrust the Myriad Thunder Valley to you first. When your husband returns, I will definitely revitalize the Myriad Thunder Valley and make it the center of attention. After Helplessness and Xue left, they didn't return. Not long after, Zhenqing sent them a message saying that Helplessness and Xue's natal spirit tablet was broken. Both of them died at the same time. This news was like a bolt from the blue, and everyone in the 10,000 Thunder Valley was stunned. After all, they had just condensed their core, and the 10,000 Thunder Valley had just gotten rid of their decline and had a little hope of revival. Now this seedling was extinguished once again. Afterward, the Imperial Thunder Sect also sent some disciples to investigate the location and cause of the two's deaths, but there was no news. Even the disciples of the Myriad Thunder Valley, who went out to gain experience later, left behind information about this. But after several hundred years, whether it was Helplessness, Xue or Xiaohua, they all seemed to have disappeared into thin air. There was no trace of them at all. In fact, everyone felt that the three of them should have died at the same time. The golden core cultivator that had just been born in the Myriad Thunder Valley was also gone. In addition to the disappearance of the Myriad Thunder Valley's Myriad Thunder Valley, the situation of the Myriad Thunder Valley became even more awkward. However, it was a good thing that Di Hongshan had some tricks up his sleeves. He was able to benefit from both sides of the Thunder Flash Hall, and his status was getting higher and higher. This was how he was able to keep the 10,000 Thunder Valley's normal expenses. Of course, because Wuqing was directly trained by Master Qian Lei, Cui Yingying was directly trained by Fairy Yao Feng of Distant Thunder Palace, and Xiang Zhili was directly trained by Reverend Lei Meng of Thunderclap Palace, although these palace masters did not pay special attention to Myriad Thunder Valley. With these palace masters present, other palace masters like Thousand Thunder Mountain and Swallow Thunder Ridge, who had always had a grudge against Myriad Thunder Valley, did not dare to make things difficult for them. However, it was impossible for things to go smoothly. The Myriad Thunder Valley was bound to have some daily conflicts and difficulties. It was impossible for Xiang Yang and the rest to report to Thunder Meng Daoist for such trivial matters. Therefore, over the years, the Myriad Thunder Valley's days were still tough. Not to mention the amount of spirit stones and elixirs used by the disciples. Even the quota of disciples recruited by Myriad Thunder Valley was getting smaller and smaller. Regarding this situation, Zhua Xiang Yang and Yin Qinglian were well aware of it. Previously, Thunderclap Palace looked down on Myriad Thunder Valley, and almost every time they recruited disciples, they did not inform Myriad Thunder Valley. Later, with Xiaohua, Thunderclap Palace allowed Myriad Thunder Valley to recruit Zhang Quan, Zhun Fangjia, and the other third-generation disciples at once. After Xiaohua was expelled and helplessly died, Myriad Thunder Valley declined. How could it not be as glorious as it used to be? Not to mention not being able to recruit disciples, Zhun Fangjia and the other third-generation disciples also died due to their lifespans reaching the end of their lifespans. Since the matter of the disciples was related to the development and survival of Myriad Thunder Valley, Xiang Yang did not dare to be negligent. He had accompanied Zhua to find Thunder Meng Daoist. Without saying a word, Thunder Meng Daoist took out the list of disciples he had recruited in the past and showed it to them. After Zhua and Xiang Yang finished reading it, they did not say anything else. Due to the change in the heaven and earth spiritual energy, the number of disciples Imperial Thunder Sect could recruit was greatly reduced compared to before. The number of disciples that could be assigned to Thunderclap Palace was even fewer. Since the various palaces and branches could not satisfy them, how could they send these disciples to Myriad Thunder Valley? However, before Zhua left, Thunder Meng Daoist had specially handwritten a palace lord's decree and handed it to Zhua ****. He asked Zhua to hand it over to Spring Thunder Palace every time Thunderclap Palace needed to assign some disciples. Therefore, Myriad Thunder Valley relied on this decree to recruit Zhan Shitua and the other fourth-generation disciples. The fourth-generation disciples could not be compared to the third-generation disciples. Their aptitude was average and their numbers were much smaller. Therefore, Myriad Thunder Valley was once again reduced to one of the weaker branches of Thunderclap Palace. Of course, this was only a relative term. Because of the medicinal pills left behind by Xiaohua, especially the lightning pills, Zhua Xiang Yang, Yin Qinglian, Cui Hongshan, and Dui Qiming had all stepped into the Gold Core realm. Other than Xiang Yang, who had limited aptitude and almost stepped into the late Gold Core realm, the other four were all in the late Gold Core realm. Of the third-generation disciples, those who died naturally could not break through to the Gold Core realm. All the other disciples were already in the early Gold Core realm. Among Xiang Yang's disciples, Zhun Quan and Ping Jingyao were still alive. Zhun Fengjie and Yun Qing were dead. Among Yin Qinglian's disciples, Zhen Yetao and Xiao Fengxiao were still alive. Zhen Yaoyong and Ting Tao were dead. Among Dui Qiming's disciples, Dui Mingting and Zhang Wan were still alive. Zhan Xian and Fan Yuming were dead. Di Hongshan was usually busy with the affairs of Thunderclap Palace and did not guide his disciples much. Of his disciples, other than his disciple Fang Lihe, Shan Tingmu, Zhan Xuanfeng and Jiang Yu were all dead. Not to mention the small number of fourth-generation disciples, just these 12 Golden Core cultivators alone were unimaginable in the past. Among the various palaces and branches of Seismic Thunder Palace, they could be ranked in the upper middle. Of course, Xiang Yang was very clear that Seismic Thunder Palace had tens of thousands of disciples. Aside from Golden Core cultivators, there were also nascent soul cultivators, foundation establishment cultivators, and aura refining cultivators in the various palaces and branches. Seismic Thunder Palace only had a few dozen people. In terms of overall strength, they were still behind many of the palaces and branches. When he heard Lei Mingfeng's Seismic Thunder Palace issue the order to clean up the palaces and branches, his heart tightened. After the details of the 100 Palaces competition were passed down and he carefully discussed it with Cui Hongshan, his heart gradually relaxed. Since it was a martial arts practice, there must be a limit to the number of rounds and matches. Although Myriad Thunder Valley had few disciples, it wouldn't be a problem for them to face 3 opponents at once. The facts also proved that at this point, the 100 Palaces competition had already ended. Myriad Thunder Valley's battle record was still good, so they should have already escaped the purge range. Alas, Xiangyang sighed. He retracted his gaze from Zhuogong's slightly relaxed face and swept it across the faces of the similarly happy disciples. He then looked towards the depths of Laimo mountain range and thought to himself, if those 3 disobedient bastards were here, why would they make my Myriad Thunder Valley so difficult? The disobedient bastards that Xiangyang spoke of were naturally the 3 elites of Myriad Thunder Valley, led by Xiang Zhili. That day at the Great Thunder Palace, Master Qianlei looked at Xiang Zhili, Wu Qing, and Cui Yingying's lower dantians and understood Xiaohua's intention. He also felt that the 3 of them had outstanding aptitudes and immediately made a decision to personally guide Wu Qing's cultivation. Then, in the absence of Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master, he appointed Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master to guide Xiang Zhili and Fairy Yaofeng to guide Cui Yingying. Master Qianlei's action was admittedly because he liked the aptitudes of Wu Qing and the others and wanted to nurture outstanding younger disciples for Imperial Thunder Sect. More importantly, he wanted to express his goodwill to Xiaohua through this action. Unfortunately, Wu Qing and Shueshui died, Xiaohua went missing, and Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master returned empty-handed, causing Master Qianlei's goal to fail. Of course, Xiang Zhili and the others had outstanding aptitudes and lightning cores in their bodies. Master Qianlei did not go back on his words and indeed began to guide Wu Qing's cultivation. Thunder Tablet Spiritual Master and Fairy Yaofeng also began to nurture Xiang Zhili and Cui Yingying. However, giving pointers wasn't the same as accepting disciples. It was also impossible for 3 nascent soul cultivators to personally teach 3 aura refining disciples. Usually, they would only give them some pointers when the 3 of them had difficulties, and they would only take 1 day or half a day out of the year to teach them about their cultivation experiences. Normally, the 3 of them would still cultivate in Thunderous Palace. Even so, the progress of Xiang Zhili and the others was still astonishing. They were several times faster than ordinary disciples of Thunderous Palace. Since the 3 of them were outstanding, they were naturally ostracized by the other disciples of Thunderous Palace, not to mention that they came from Myriad Thunder Valley with a shallow background. Especially after the sword battle, when the tens of thousands of captured Imperial Thunder Sect disciples returned to the sect, many of them were provoked by those with ulterior motives. They ignored Xiaohua's nameless nascent soul and came to provoke them. Some even secretly bullied the 3 of them. In this harsh environment that was comparable to the marketplace of the mortal world, the 3 of them stood out like owls. As their strength increased from aura refining to foundation establishment, in fact it was not so much the environment that forced them to do so. It was better to say that the 3 of them had outstanding aptitudes. Thunderous Palace's various halls were unable to suppress their strength. Not to mention that among the 3 of them, Xiang Zhili was the oldest. Wu Qing and Cui Yingying had always followed Xiang Zhili's lead. And with Xiang Zhili's temper, how could he be the one to suffer losses? Not to mention being bullied by others, even if others looked at him with disdain, he would spit back at them. Therefore, ever since they were young, the 3 of them had caused a lot of trouble in Thunderous Palace. They had made many enemies for Myriad Thunder Valley, but it just so happened that the 3 of them had the same mind as if they were one. Xiang Zhili was eloquent, and Wu Qing was merciless in his attacks. That Cui Yingying was silent and looked abnormally shy. She always hid behind Wu Qing and Xiang Zhili, but she would suddenly attack when others were careless. She was even more merciless. Therefore, before the 3 of them could condense their gold cores, the name of the 3 heroes of Myriad Thunder Valley had already resounded throughout the entire Thunderous Palace, and even the Thunder Mo mountain range. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please go to Qidian to subscribe to support, vote for a monthly vote, vote for a recommendation vote, bookmark, gift, and thank you for all forms of support. Chapter 51:14. Xiang Zhili and the other two's core condensation was not completed in the Imperial Thunder Sect. but during their experiential training. In addition, the three had been refining the dragon transformation art since they were young and cultivated the secret arts left behind by Xiaohua. When they returned to the Imperial Thunder sect, they had already concealed their realms. Apart from the disciples of the Myriad Thunder Valley, Master Qian Lazy, Fairy Yaofeng, and Thundermang Taoist, no one knew that the three had already reached the Gold Core stage. After the three returned to the Myriad Thunder Valley, they hurriedly reported and immediately went into seclusion in the Layamo Mountains. They only came out after 10 years. Because the three's progress was really shocking, whether it was Zhuahanggu, Yan Qinglian, or Dui Qimeng, they were all worried that something would happen to the three's cultivation. When they came out, the three mothers immediately called them to their side and prepared to check their cultivation. But contrary to the three mothers' expectations, the three objected in unison and refused to let them check, saying that it was Master Qian Lazy, Thundermang Taoist, and Fairy Yaofeng's idea. Not to mention Wu Qing's unchanging expression. Just from Cui Yingying's evasive words and Xiang Zhili's slightly raised eyebrows, the three mothers knew that it was not the three nascent soul masters' idea. But seeing the three stable realms and high spirits, they also knew that the three must have had a fortuitous encounter. So, they simply did not ask and urged the three to report back to the three nascent soul masters. Xiang Yang and the others did not know how the three nascent soul masters reacted. But after returning from the nascent soul masters, the three began to restrain their sharpness. They either cultivated in their own cave in the Myriad Thunder Valley, gathered in the cave left behind by Xiaohua, or went to the 8 great thunder palaces to read secret arts. Of course, most of the time they went out for experiential training. In the end, even Xiang Yang and the others did not know the specific cultivation of Xiang Zhili, Wu Qing, and Cui Yingying. 100 years ago, when the three were experiential training, they suddenly received an urgent message from Master Qian Lazy and rushed back to the Imperial Thunder sect. Without kowtowing to the masters of the Myriad Thunder Valley, they directly went to the Great Thunder Hall. Then Master Qian Lazy took them into a secret room. After a year, the three returned to the Myriad Thunder Valley. After a simple report to the masters, they went to the depths of the Layamo Mountains to cultivate in seclusion. Xiang Yang and the others did not know the specific reason and location. After that, Master Qian Lazy failed to transcend his tribulation and perished. The Imperial Thunder sect changed its sect master and so on. The three of them didn't know anything about it either. 100 years of seclusion was enough for many people to forget about the arrogant three elites of the 10,000 Thunder Valley. Many people even thought that the three of them had died. Only the teachers of the 10,000 Thunder Valley would go to the Jade Archive Hall every year to ask Zhenqing to tell them about the situation of the three elites' natal spirit tablets. Therefore, although Xiang Yang did not know how powerful the three of them were, he was clear that if the three of them were not in closed-door cultivation, the situation in the Myriad Thunder Valley would be much better and Zhan Shitua would not have been injured so badly. Xiang Yang did not withdraw his gaze from the depths of the Layamo mountain range. From the corner of his eyes, he saw a figure flying over from afar. Wasn't that Cui Hongshen? Cui Hongshen's appearance was still the same as before, but he was a little older than before. The affairs of the Thunder Flash Hall were much more taxing than cultivation. Although Cui Hongshen handled these affairs with ease, it was not only for his own future, but also for the status of the 10,000 Thunder Valley. It was inevitable that he would spend more effort. Therefore, even though he had the bloodline of the true spirit, he still did not have outstanding achievements in cultivation. Now, his cultivation was only at the late stage of the Gold Core realm. Junior brother Cui. Seeing Cui Hongshen flying over, Xiang Yang hurriedly flew out and greeted him. With some anxiety on his face, he asked anxiously, "How's the situation?" Alas, Cui Hongshen habitually frowned and sighed. The Thunder Flash Palace has more than 40 palace branches, and my 10,000 Thunder Valley is only ranked in the top 20. There shouldn't be any problem. Hearing Cui Hongshen's sigh, Xiang Yang's heart tightened and his expression changed slightly. After hearing the last part, he came to his senses and could not help but smile. He patted Cui Hongshen's shoulder and said with a smile, "You really know how to make fun of your elder brother." Haha. Cui Hongshen also smiled and said, "Senior brother, please forgive me. Am I not also trying to find joy in the midst of hardship?" Alas, that's right. Xiang Yang stopped smiling and sighed like Cui Hongshen. He echoed, Ever since we received the sect master token for the 100 Palace competition, we have been worried. Now we can finally put our hearts at ease. Come, follow me to see master's wife. Without waiting for Xiangyang to finish speaking, Chua Hongshen's voice sounded behind him. Hongshen, how's the situation? Chui Hongshen naturally did not dare to joke with Chua Hongshen. He hurriedly bowed and said, reporting to master's wife, my 10,000 Thunder Valley is ranked 23rd in the Thunder Flash Palace's 100 Palace competition. We should be in the middle. Now, the rankings of the various palace branches have been sent to Thunder Flash Peak's Thunder Flash Hall, waiting for Sect Master's decision. However, based on the rankings alone, my 10,000 Thunder Valley is definitely not on the list to be cleaned up. That's good, that's good. Chua Hongshen finally heaved a sigh of relief. She patted her chest and said, if the 10,000 Thunder Valley is cleaned up, I don't know how to explain it to your master. Don't worry, master's wife. At this moment, Dui Qimeng, who was beside Chua Hongshen, said with a smile, my 10,000 Thunder Valley has so many golden core cultivators. We're much stronger than the other palace branches. How can we be cleaned up? After the teachers finished speaking, the younger disciples also came over to pay their respects. Feng Lihe and the others bowed and said, greetings to master. Greetings to martial uncle. Zhan Quan and the others greeted. Everyone get up. Chui Hongshen was in a very good mood. He took out a storage pouch and handed it to Feng Lihe, saying, these are some elixirs. Distribute them to the disciples. Yes, disciple understands. Feng Lihe took the storage pouch and looked at it. He distributed the elixirs inside equally to Zhan Quan and the others without any bias. After Feng Lihe distributed the elixirs, Chui Hongshen looked at Zhan Shitua in the distance. He took out a jade bottle from his chest and handed it to Zhan Quan, saying, Zhan Quan, I saw Shitua risking his life on the Thunder Flash field just now. I'm afraid his Dao foundation has been damaged. This is my collection of elixirs. Give it to Shitua. Zhan Quan hurriedly replied, thank you, martial uncle. Martial uncle Dui has already given me elixirs. Oh, that's good. Chui Hongshen nodded and smiled at Dui Qimeng. He handed the jade bottle to her and said, you must have the last elixir. I'll give this to you. I don't want it. Dui Qimeng pouted and said, I've always been in the Myriad Thunder Valley and didn't go out. This elixir can't be used. You should keep it for yourself. All right. Chui Hongshen smiled and took the jade bottle, saying, Senior Brother Zhao's elixir is really good. It's better than the elixirs refined by the best alchemist in my thunder-shocking palace. Having this elixir on me is equivalent to having an extra life. Junior Brother Chui. Xiangyang smiled and said, go back and ask Qian Diheng. He often has some elixirs in his Chamber of Commerce. Forget it. Chui Hongshen looked around and said with a bitter smile, Qian Diheng sent some elixirs to master's wife last time. After returning, he was scolded by Kuang Tian. It is said that he was even locked up. Little brother, it's better not to cause trouble for him. Dui Qimeng raised her eyebrows and said in a low voice, Senior Kuang Tian is really unreasonable. According to Qian Diheng, his Chamber of Commerce was originally opened by him and Senior Brother Xiao. Although Senior Brother Xiao is no longer around, but it also has something to do with my Myriad Thunder Valley. He has no reason to. Xiangyang heard and hurriedly motioned for Dui Qimeng to shut up. He said, Junior sister, don't mention this again. Although Senior Kuang Tian has a problem with my Myriad Thunder Valley, he didn't use his power to bully others like the other disciples. Qian Diheng has been good to my Myriad Thunder Valley. Although he didn't dare to come over openly, he usually went to look for Junior Brother Chui and helped my Myriad Thunder Valley a lot. It's been a few hundred years, it's really hard for him. Dui Qimeng was unconvinced and said, during the Battle of Dao and Sword, he fell into Sky Patrol City. How could it be related to our Senior Brother Xiao? They obviously wanted to find a scapegoat. Qimeng. Seeing that Dui Qimeng had said too much, Chui Hongshen scolded. This is something that happened a few hundred years ago. Who still remembers it now? Don't mention it again in the future. How can we know about Senior Nascent Soul's abilities? If he knows about it, it'll be bad for my Myriad Thunder Valley. Dui Qimeng saw that Chui Hongshen was angry and didn't dare to say anything. Xiangyang asked junior brother Cui. It seems that the next battle should be for the palace master of the Heavenly Thunder Palace, right? It's said that Kuang Tian is determined to get the palace master position? Cui Hongshan nodded and said, that's right. Senior Kuang Tian was originally a direct disciple of the Heavenly Thunder Palace. Before the Battle of Dao and Sword, he had advanced to the nascent soul realm. After more than 700 years of cultivation, he has now reached the middle stage nascent soul realm. Not only did he make contributions in the Battle of Dao and Sword, but he also cultivated the Thunder Escape technique. It's said that he has now reached the realm of Thunder Escape, second only to Senior Qian Lazy's Thunder Imperial transformation. Although the Thunderclap Palace still has the Rumbling Thunder Palace's Palace Master Qian Qingzi, the Diligent Thunder Palace's Palace Master Qian Fangju, and a senior named Swift Wind Spiritual Master, they are all at the peak of the early stage nascent soul realm and have not reached the middle stage nascent soul realm. If there are no accidents, Kuang Tian will become the palace master of the Heavenly Thunder Palace. I hope that after Kuang Tian becomes the palace master of the Heavenly Thunder Palace, he won't harm my Myriad Thunder Valley. Shuo Hongshan's heart tightened as he said in a low voice. Haha, don't worry. Cui Hongshan said with a smile, this disciple is already so busy being the deputy palace master of the Rumbling Thunder Palace. If he becomes the palace master of the Heavenly Thunder Palace, why would he care about my little Myriad Thunder Valley? On the contrary, that Qian Diheng will definitely gain a lot of power in the future. He will be able to take care of my Myriad Thunder Valley even more. Haha. When Cui Hongshan said this, everyone seemed to be able to see Qian Diheng's complacent look and couldn't help but laugh. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please go to Qidian to subscribe to support, vote for a monthly vote, vote for a recommendation vote, bookmark, tip, and thank you for all forms of support. Chapter 51:15. Afterwards, Cui Hongshan asked some questions about the disciples, bowed to Zhuo Hongshan, and left in a hurry. Clearly, he was taking advantage of this moment to report to Master's wife that there were still many things to be done at the Thunder Plain. Since junior brother Cui said it's fine, then it's really fine. Yin Qinglian watched Cui Hongshan leave with a smile. This was a false alarm. Alas, it's all thanks to this child. Zhuo Hongshan also looked at Cui Hongshan's back and sighed. Working hard alone in the Thunder Flash Hall. Xiangyang nodded. Yes, this disciple is unworthy and can't contribute to the Myriad Thunder Valley. We can only rely on junior brother Cui. Hearing this, Dui Qiming hurriedly said, Master's wife, don't praise him too much. He also treats our Myriad Thunder Valley as his home. That's why he works so hard. He often says that he's Master's wife's child. If he doesn't contribute to the Myriad Thunder Valley, who else can he contribute to? Zhuo Hongshan smiled slightly. She already understood Dui Qiming very well. She knew that she might be a little narrow-minded, a little show-off or a little concerned about her own disciples, but she did have the Myriad Thunder Valley in her heart. As the eldest sister-in-law, Yin Qinglian also had the demeanor of a sister-in-law and never fought with Dui Qiming for anything. Of course, Dui Qiming also respected Yin Qinglian. The Myriad Thunder Valley could be considered a very harmonious home. If such a harmonious palace branch was cleaned up, then the heavenly Tao would be blind. Shuo Hongshan thought to herself, then said something to Dui Qiming and Yin Qinglian. She quietly waited for the thunder plane to be put away, and prepared to watch Kuang Tian display his might, and obtain the position of Palace Lord of the Heavenly Thunder Palace. Sure enough, it was only the cultivation method of a single meal. The lightning ball formed by the thunder arena began to gradually retract its brilliance, turning into a huge irregular shape. Then, it let out a deafening rumble as it gradually sank. At the same time, tens of thousands of light sheets stretched out from the bottom of the thunder arena like flowers blooming, reaching towards the various palace branches. Xiangyang and the rest understood that this was to welcome the shocking Thunder Palace's disciples to the Thunder Arena in preparation for the battle for the position of Heavenly Thunder Palace's Palace Master. It's been a long time since I've seen a nascent soul senior fight. Yin Qinglian looked at Zhuo Ying and said with a smile, if we can comprehend something from the fight, it should be very helpful for us to step into the nascent soul stage. Zhuo Honggu replied, my lifespan is already nearing its end. I'm afraid I won't be able to wait until the day I step into the nascent soul realm. You all still have a chance. In a moment you must properly comprehend it. If my Myriad Thunder Valley were to produce a nascent soul disciple, who would dare to look down on my Myriad Thunder Valley? Speaking of nascent soul cultivators, Xiangyang couldn't help but think of Xiaohua, junior brother back then. However, Xiangyang only said 5 words and didn't say anything else. So what if Xiaohua was a nascent soul cultivator back then? He has not appeared for nearly 1,000 years. Who knows whether Xiaohua is alive or dead? Aside from the Myriad Thunder Valley, who could still remember the Myriad Thunder Valley disciple who shook the Sword Dao battle back then? Xiangyang had always called Xiaohua junior brother, and Cui Hongshan junior brother Cui. At first, Dui Qiming felt very awkward when she heard it, but later, she got used to it. She knew that Xiangyang was reminiscing about Xiaohua and spoiling him. Moreover, Xiaohua had indeed rendered meritorious service to the Myriad Thunder Valley, and was her and Cui Hongshan's savior, so she didn't fuss about it anymore. At this moment she even said with a smile, although senior brother Xiao is a nameless nascent soul cultivator, I heard from Hongshan that senior brother Zhao's strength has reached the nascent soul stage, but in reality he isn't. In other words, my Myriad Thunder Valley has never produced a nascent soul cultivator. I wonder who will become the first nascent soul cultivator? Junior sister is right. Yan Qinglian smiled and said, if we're talking about my Myriad Thunder Valley's first nascent soul cultivator, it will undoubtedly be junior brother Cui. If he didn't work hard for my Myriad Thunder Valley, I'm afraid he would have already become a nascent soul. Xiangyang also nodded and said, that's right. Junior brother Cui's aptitude is beyond my reach. The first nascent soul cultivator will definitely be him. A smile appeared on Dui Qiming's face. She understood that Cui Hongshan had already secretly told her before the new year that his long-dormant late-stage gold core cultivation had begun to show signs of loosening. If everything went smoothly, they would be able to see the results within 10 years. Seeing Dui Qiming stop talking and reveal a rare smile, how could everyone who understood Dui Qiming not know that Cui Hongshan's cultivation had improved? Thinking that a nascent soul cultivator would soon appear in the Myriad Thunder Valley, all of their previous worries would turn into nothingness. Everyone couldn't help but feel happy. However, at this moment, a gust of wind whistled in the distance. Cui Hongshan, who had just left, unexpectedly flew back with a deathly pale face. What happened? Seeing Cui Hongshan in such a sorry state, Cui Hongshan's heart suddenly jolted. As if he had a premonition, he shouted, Hongshan, is my Myriad Thunder Valley master's wife? Cui Hongshan's figure stopped, and his face flushed red. He seemed to be out of breath. He adjusted his breathing slightly before saying, don't panic. Disciple just heard a piece of news. What news? Speak quickly. Cui Hongshan urged. Disciple heard that Black Thunder Hall has 2 lists of palace branches to clean up. One was drawn up long ago. It's just some palace branches in name. The other one is the list of the 100 palace competition. Cui Hongshan said with some sorrow, and my Myriad Thunder Valley is in the first list. Damn it. Even an honest person like Xiangyang couldn't help but curse in a low voice. If that's the case, why is my Myriad Thunder Valley still participating in the 100 palace competition? The important thing is to participate. Cui Hongshan bit his lips and said in a low voice, if the first list had been announced long ago, many palace branches wouldn't have fought with their lives on the line. Hongshan, are you sure about this news? Cui Hongshan took a deep breath and asked. Cui Hongshan hesitated for a moment. He didn't shake his head or nod, and replied, disciple doesn't know, but there's no smoke without fire. Master's wife? Xiangyang hurriedly asked. Disciple remembers that sect master Qian Lazy personally said that the name of Myriad Thunder Valley would never be removed. That was then, and this is now. Cui Hongshan sighed. Back when Xiaohua was expelled from Imperial Thunder Sect, Sect Master Xianhua was reprimanded by Sect Master Qian Lazy. When everyone heard this, they fell silent for a moment. No one wanted to say anything. After working hard for more than a month and paying so much, several disciples were even willing to throw away their lives. But what did they get in return? An ending that had been arranged long ago? Cui Hongshan. Dui Qiming stole a glance to the left and asked in a low voice, if Myriad Thunder Valley's name is removed, How will the disciples be dealt with? Cui Hongshan didn't understand why Dui Qiming wanted to send him a voice transmission. He looked at her with some confusion and replied, according to the rules of the 100 Halls contest, we will be merged into the other halls of Thunderous Palace. Which hall? Dui Qiming pressed. Don't tell me you don't care. AI, is there even a need to say it? Cui Hongshan didn't want to be pushed too hard and replied, Thunderous Palace is guarded by Myriad Thunder Valley and Thousand Thunder Mountain. My Myriad Thunder Valley will definitely be sent to Thousand Thunder Mountain. That's what I thought. Dui Qiming said, Thousand Thunder Mountain's Zhen Yu isn't someone easy to deal with. If my Myriad Thunder Valley's disciples fall into his hands, it won't bode well for us. Husband, I remember you once said that the Deputy Hall Master of Thunderous Palace can let his disciples merge into Thunderous Palace. Without waiting for Dui Qiming to finish, Cui Hongshan's expression changed, and he said angrily, What are you trying to say? Don't tell me you want to merge into Thunderous Palace? My Myriad Thunder Valley's disciples should go through thick and thin together. This moment, how can you think of escaping first? Dui Qiming smiled bitterly and transmitted, Husband, how can I not think for Myriad Thunder Valley? I'm also willing to go through thick and thin with Master's wife and senior marshal brother. But if we fall into Thousand Thunder Mountain, we will definitely be sent to guard the edge of Thousand Thunder Mountain's Thunder Abyss. From then on, our cultivation won't be able to progress. Don't say any more. Cui Hongshan said coldly, This Cui will definitely not be separated from Master's wife and the rest. Do you have the heart to let Yingying guard Thousand Thunder Mountain for the rest of her life? Be a golden core cultivator like us for the rest of her life? Dui Qiming was also a little anxious and said, If you don't want to be separated from Master's wife and the rest, I can accompany you. But can I trouble you to send your daughter to Thunderous Palace? Cui Hongshan was at a loss for words. He understood that as the Deputy Palace Master of Thunderous Palace, he naturally didn't need to guard Thousand Thunder Mountain. However, if Cui Yingying was sent to Thousand Thunder Mountain, she would have to listen to Zhen Yu's arrangements. How could Zhen Yu tolerate a Myriad Thunder Valley disciple being pregnant? He would definitely send Cui Yingying, Wu Qing, and even Xiang Zhili to the deepest part of Thousand Thunder Mountain to guard. Thinking about it, how could Cui Yingying peacefully be pregnant under the bombardment of Thousand Thunder Mountain? Darling Cui, Dui Qiming advised again, think about it again. If we go to Thunderous Palace first, won't the Myriad Thunder Valley only be left with Senior Marshal Brother, Master's wife and Wu Qing? When there's a chance in the future, we'll go find Thunder Meng's spiritual master. Presumably, he won't watch Xiang Zhili guard Thousand Thunder Mountain, right? As long as we avoid this storm and move Senior Marshal Brother and Master's wife into Thunderous Palace, wouldn't that be enough? Thunder Meng's spiritual master. Hearing Dui Qiming mention Thunder Meng's spiritual master, Cui Hongshan's eyes brightened. He couldn't be bothered to transmit to Dui Qiming anymore, and said to Zhua ****, Master's wife, quickly, let's go find Thunder Meng's spiritual master. Yes. Zhua **** also seemed to have woken up from a dream and cried out, How could I be so stupid? Leaving the Thunderous Palace Master and not asking for help, could it be that we're just going to sit here and wait for death? Cui Hongshan. Dui Qiming was somewhat angry and cried out, Did I say all that for nothing? Qiming. Cui Hongshan said somewhat apologetically, You're right. For Yingying we can do that. However, don't forget, without everyone, where would there be a small family? Without Myriad Thunder Valley, we'll be drifters wherever we go. P.S. Fellow Taoists who like this book, please subscribe to it at Qidian. Vote for it, give it a tip, and you're tuning in to the Li Mei Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.